Another day for a debate. The gentleman sent in a request via
And yes, Marquette, if you don't Marquette, he is a foundational Black American.
Instagram. And so we will have a discussion and perhaps a bit of an interview. I'm going to yield the floor for the gentleman to introduce himself, and we will proceed from there.
Yes, well, thank you, Marquette, for doing this. And I have to say, you have some bars, you have some motion in the songs for sure. I am a fan of music, rap. I do like a little bit of motion when people speak, when they have rhythm. But my name is James.
I find it funny how a lot of these white guys that are like, you know, they're real racist, they hate Black people, they love rap music. So they love everything about us. They love rap music, they love sports, they love all of this stuff, but they just don't like us. You know, that's not new information. I'm not telling y'all something that y'all don't know, but I just find that funny. Like, yeah, you know, I'm like, you know, white power and all that, but like, you know, I do like rap. You know, I like rap. I like blacks, and you guys, yeah, guys have rhythm. You guys can dance. Like, you know, it's always the case whenever they speak. But let's keep watching.
My Instagram and TikTok is Cloysius. I am a white nationalist. I believe white people need to begin advocating for themselves in their own countries. They are going extinct in their own countries. You can go to China and you can go to Indonesia. That's fine. People from all over the world move around in a globalized society. But for some reason, as white people, we have begun to say it's okay for us to be disrespected in our own countries. It's okay for us not to stand up for ourselves. And any other group of people that survives stands up for themselves. They stand up for their interests. And I want to empower white people to do the same.
It's funny because he says that white people are losing their countries. When we go back in history, these are countries that were actually infiltrated by white people. So you're not really losing your country. This is a country that was never yours, that you came over here and stole. Now, I'm not going to say all white people, because all white people did not operate in that way, but their ancestors, the ones who were colonizing and RAPing and doing all of this stuff, they are the ones that operated in this way. So you came to an already established place and you colonized it. So I find that funny. It's like, and then when they love to speak about like immigration and bringing in, which I actually agree with, I think a lot of these countries, regardless of what the country is, I think especially in America, because I'm American, this is my country, way too many immigrants over here. I want them all to go back home. But, and if they do come over here, it needs to be a lot harder for people to come over here in general. But this is stuff that your people said, because it's funny because they'll speak about this like white people are racist dying out, but these are things that your own community created. You give the access of who can come over here and who can't come over here. You give the access, and the reason why the white population is dying, a big portion of it is abortion, because the liberal white woman, because white men don't have control over their women anymore, the liberal white woman has taken over, and they basically run America now. So you can't get mad at anybody, but it's funny because not all of them, not all white people. Again, I'm talking about the white supremacists and the I ain't gonna call it white supremacists. I hate using that term. You white extremists, that's what I like to use. Somehow, some way, y'all find a way to blame Black Americans. So it's our fault that immigration is really bad in America. It's our fault all these Latinos are over here and all of these Asians are over here. It's our fault that the Indians are over here. And it's really funny because y'all have been so focused on Black Americans and trying to keep us down that y'all have turned a blind eye to all of these immigrants coming over here and infiltrating so-called your country. So you can't blame anybody but yourself. And the fact that you don't have control over your women anymore, because the average white man in America is weak. It is what it is. Let's keep going.
Well, I appreciate that polished introduction. Two of the things you mentioned were curious. You gave an example of China and Indonesia, and you mentioned white people standing up in their own countries. The difference between perhaps what you're referencing with the whites standing up in their own countries is that, you know, China was originally a place for the Han Chinese, Indonesia originally from for the Indonesians, whereas conversely, say if you were to take Australia or the United States, neither of those are actually white countries. Those are places that whites inserted themselves, typically through violence, mass murder,
right.
RAPE, and much else, all things that we would consider to be pretty evil. So would you like to kind of center us now?
Yeah, I'm willing to respond to that. The world grew not by peace, it grew by war. When we looked at native tribes in Australia and North America, they fought each other. They had wars with each other. They committed mass atrocities. The Aztecs, Mayans literally sacrificed little children, ripped their hearts out. So to say that the world grew.
Okay, so basically his logic is, well, other people did it, so it shouldn't be looked at as the same way. So by that logic, we can use that logic across the board. So if someone murders your family member, and you want them to go to jail, and you want to speak about how bad they are, well, the response from the judge should be, well, other people have murdered other people, so what's the problem? So we should now not make that a big thing. You should not be held accountable because of this behavior, because other people did it in the past. So someone comes in your house and steals something and runs away. They break into your house, steal something while you're on vacation. You come back and your house is tarnished and ransacked and everything is gone and everything is destroyed. When you contact the police or when you contact whoever you need to contact to do an investigation, they should say, well, other people have stolen from other people and broken other people's houses. So it's not that big of a deal, and just let you figure it out based on your own logic. But again, people like him, a lot of these white extremists, they don't really have any logic. They're very low IQ. They love to bring up this IQ stuff, but they're actually low IQ themselves. They're not smart and intelligent people because they only see things based on their own perspective of what benefits them. It's called being biased. Let's keep going.
Through by peace and everyone was just playing nicely is untrue. Any other ethnic group who got
I'm gonna move this over real quick. My bad, y'all. Okay, we good.
power, they would have done the same thing. White people were just more particularly British people, and I'm Irish, so my people didn't exactly conquer the whole world. But predominantly the British and Americans were able to go and insert themselves and dominate other cultures and conquer them by force. And the whole world is about being conquered or conquering, and white people, because they have not stood up for themselves, they are losing the nations they once conquered.
That's very curious. There are a number of points there that are strange. Number one, you're Irish. I was just recently in Ireland. I surmise that damn near the whole of Ireland would disagree with your politics. Moreover, you're suggesting that the inclination to conquer RAPE, steal people's lands, erase their cultures, and kill is the natural instinct of humankind. I would actually forward that that is a unique instinct of the European. And the evidence today, when you look at countries that have significant military capacity, you'll find that they do not display the vicious imperialist behavior of the European nations. And so what you're describing is not the nature of man. You're describing the nature of the devil. Man, wherever you may find him, we can consider the Chinese because they're a very much so an up-and-coming power. In fact, I think all who are being honest would consider them the current hegemon. But the difference between, say, a Chinese power and a European power is that the Chinese tend to not go and invade other countries. There's no doubt that they have the population to do so. The argument of the Germans, Lebensraum, or the argument of the Israelis or the Americans, see the shining sea. Surely the Chinese can make the same argument with a billion-plus population, but they don't. They don't go and steal and take over. And so what you'd have to do is first acknowledge that the nature of the European is unique, and it's uniquely bad, in fact, and that the things that you're noting are quite evil things. I yield the floor.
Well, I'm not someone who looks back at this time we're in and say atrocities are a good thing, but every single culture is capable of atrocities. And to say that I need to apologize for things that were done, I just reject that premise. I think white people in general, they have went out to different places, they explored, they colonized, they conquered.
Here's where was an apology asked for? Care about your apology? Where was an apology asked for? I think it's a debate. So you're giving your stance, and your stance is being responded to. Where was an apology asked for? So he added that on there, like as if that's something that was asked for. Nobody asked for your apology. He's just bringing light to the sense that you do not make. But let's continue.
North America, they went out and took
Another thing too, this is basically the logic that like to use when they like to talk about slavery. Well, everybody were slaves. Everybody had slavery. Slavery was something that was happening everywhere. They did have slavery in other places, but American slavery was very unique because it was people that were brought away from a place, not all people, because not all Black Americans came from Africa, but it was people that were brought from a place. And then the people who are already there, which you people destroyed, pillaged, RAPE'd, took away everything that they had and made them conform to what you wanted them to conform to. So it's completely different than what they like to call other types of slavery, because let's be honest, other types of slavery historically, a lot of people became slaves based on their actions. So you committed a crime, so we're going to make you a slave. You did something, so we're going to make you a slave. It's not common in human history where they had slavery that was based off of your lineage. So the reason that you're born into this no matter what. You're just born into this simply based on your skin color. They had slaves in other parts of the world, true. But it was not slavery because you are just innately, biologically who you are. No. We're going to make you a slave because there's something that you did or there was a crime or like this. This is why. So American slavery was very unique. So they like to act like it was just the same as everywhere else. No, it wasn't. It was completely, distinctly unique in its own right. So don't make any sense, but let's keep going. Yeah, or like prisoners of war, people like that. Exactly. Yeah, they made it biology based, so there was no getting around it no matter what.
Australia, in Africa, right? There were African tribes, the Oyo Empire, OYO Empire in Africa that owned 700,000 plus African slaves. So to say that slavery and conquering is a unique European thing, I would say Europeans were the ones who were able to conquer and enslave better than anyone else at the rules as they were at those times in history. It does not mean that I look at that today and say that's what we should do again today, but the rules of the times were that. It was to conquer, to take more, and the European was the best at doing it. And if we look at, if we do a pretend scenario, let's say,
do you mind if
Africa,
respond to some of the points before you go on? I don't want to interrupt you. But the fact of the matter is this is the second time you're speaking, and both times you were providing straw man and you were arguing against a straw man. For example, certain things I never said. I never said white should feel guilty. That's what you said. Mm-hmm. And you also...
Yeah, right, because I started bringing up the apology. Like, nobody asked for the apology. Nobody cares about that.
So stated that slavery existed in other places outside of Europe, which is true. However, I don't think that you are sophisticated enough to explain the differences in the nature of slavery as practiced by the Europeans versus as practiced anywhere else. And that's the problem, is that the white supremacists typically are the less educated, less desired white males, and they repeat what they hear one another say, yet it's consistently uninformed. So I would yield the floor to you to describe the differences between what you call African slavery and that which we observed in the transatlantic slave trade.
Right. Well, sure, I can describe the Arabian slave trade in Africa. There were Arab slave traders.
You said Arabian. I said transatlantic slave trade versus the African slave trade. You said Africans traded slaves.
Africans did trade slaves. There were
so
ginormous slave-owning empires. They would have, basically the history of the world is there was groups of people who either made alliances or made war. And those groups of people made villages, and they either made alliances or made war. Those villages made cities, they made alliances or war. States, same thing, and it kept going up and up and up and up the totem pole. So when we look at African slavery, there were African villages or African tribes who would have conflict with each other, and one tribe would go and conquer the other tribe, and they would enslave the people of those tribes. And some of those slaves they would sell to the white European or the Arabians.
So then you just kind of proved my point that I was just making, that it was completely different. There was conflict that happened. So like someone said in the comments, like people were prisoners of war. You know, there was something that you did that made you this. And maybe if it was a part of your own tribe or your own group of people, your own community or civilization, you did something incorrect. So now we're going to make you a slave. That is completely different. Or we have a disagreement politically, or we have a disagreement or whatever we believe in. That is completely different than, hey, you look different from me. And your children are going to look different from me. And their children's children are also going to look different from me. So we're going to make all of you slaves and make it for centuries. And then we're going to take you from another land and make you slaves over here because we want to establish a new place. And the people that are already in that land, we're going to make them slaves as well. We're going to make all of you guys slaves, and we're going to do it for centuries. And then after we so-called give you freedom, we're going to create laws and policies to where you guys can't actually come up. So it's like you're not necessarily slaves and being beat and being whipped, but we still have control over you. And it's going to take your own rebellion to fight against it to finally make us civilized, to say, okay, here you go. And then when you guys do get this so-called civilization and equality, we're going to blame you for not being able to be on the same level as we are, because we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years being more advanced than you, not simply because we're better than you biologically or mentally, but because we have more access to things because we created it that way. So you blacks, we're going to blame you. And this so-called freedom was what was around for 70 years now. So-called we've had freedom. We're going to say that 10 years after so-called you're now free, why aren't you educated? Why do you guys commit so much crime? Why do you guys do so much? You're just bad people. You guys are destroying the country. We need to get you out of the country. Make it make sense. Let's keep going.
People of those tribes. And some of those slaves they would sell to the white European or the Arabian slave traders from the Middle East that would come over and buy slaves. So to implicitly just put the evil white man as committing all the atrocities, they were the ones that did commit.
I never said that. I'm asking you to compare the nature of African slavery and European slavery, because you suggested that you know something about African slavery. I know that you don't. And so I'm saying, well, go ahead and tell us what you do know.
Yeah, as I said, villages, tribes, empires, right? Different areas. Tribes would fight tribes. One tribe would conquer another tribe. They would.
He's talking like a toddler. Now, if you were to ask him about the specific tribes and ask him about specific leaders and empires, I'm sure he probably won't be able to do it. Maybe he will, I don't know. But he's talking like a toddler. He's very miseducated.
They would plunder, they would conquer that tribe, take their resources, take their women, take their children, make them slaves. That's what would happen in Africa. Then these tribes made empires, and these empires.
Where'd you get that from? Like, where'd you get that from?
This is world history.
No, this is actually not world history. So, for example, I took a course under Dr. Mario Ariola, who's one of the foremost scholars in this, what you're calling world history. We're specifically speaking about African history. We're particularly talking about West African history because those...
That boy getting hot. He got to drink that water. That boy getting hot. That boy getting hot. He got to drink that water, boy.
Enslaved in the transatlantic slave trade, also known as the Mayafa, came from Western Africa. Some of the states today you might know as Ghana, Benin, Nigeria, etc. And so what I asked you to do is to compare the enslavement that occurred in that region versus European slavery. And what you did not do is answer that question. So you named one.
Well, what do you want me to compare? They're different.
They're certainly different.
Yeah.
You named one means through which someone could become a slave. You also claimed that the empires would take over each other and pillage and do all these other things, which you don't have any evidence of. But certainly they had wars. And you suggested that one could become a slave by being a POW, though you didn't use a proper term. So we agree there. What are the other means through which someone could become enslaved in West Africa?
Well, they're either a slave before and purchased, or they were free and they were conquered. Right. I'm sure there are other elements that you may know of, but as far as I'm aware, it was either they were a slave and bought, or they were
purchased, or they were conquered, which would say a POW. Yes. Is that it?
Sure. Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, maybe there's different tribal clans that own slaves, but what I'm saying is you weren't just a free person and randomly became a slave. You either conquered or you were bought.
Okay. You were conquered, meaning you were a POW.
Yes.
Or you were
prisoner of war.
Purchased because you were already a slave.
For the people that don't know, that means prisoner of war.
Yes.
Are there any other means?
Well, I mean, I don't know how else there'd be another mean. I mean, and you can enlighten me.
You research this because you're making an argument about
this.
Well,
I haven't researched every single part of the history of the world, but from my research,
we're not talking about the history of the world. We're talking about the specific situation of enslavement in West Africa.
Well, those are what I'm aware of. If you can enlighten me on other ways, I'm willing to broaden my perspective and horizons. But those are what I'm aware of based on my research.
I don't think it's reasonable that you would suggest that African slavery and European slavery were the same, essentially, if you don't know the nature of African slavery.
Well, they were different. Well, the thing is, all I know is what I know, what I have researched.
Well, the problem is not about, like, the issue is you brought up the argument, like he brought up the argument about, well, people colonize people all over the world, right? So when you make up, when someone says, so if someone is bringing up an argument of something that you do incorrectly, and then you say, well, people do things incorrectly, people all the time. Yeah, but under different circumstances, under different situations, like you can't compare those things because they are not the same. One is completely and distinctly different from the other. So if your argument to try to act, if your response to someone calling out your behavior or the history of a specific behavior, if your response is, well, let me try to bring something up to try to create a comparison, to try to make it seem like, well, it happens all over, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Then when the question is asked, well, can you explain the differences between the two? The reason Marquett is asking that question is because he's saying, okay, so if you're trying to say that if you're trying to say that this is your argument of why this should not be taken as seriously, then I need you to explain the differences between these two. So you can basically destroy your own point, because Marquett is basically just, because he's a very good debater. He's a master debater. He's trying to make him destroy his own talking point. The problem is he's such an idiot that he doesn't even know the history of African slavery. He doesn't even know the history of why people became slaves. He doesn't even know the history. He's just, well, they had it over there and they had it over there. Okay, well, explain the difference between the two. Because if you explain the difference between the two, you would be able to, it's very simple. You would already destroy your own talking point. but he's not even smart enough to even destroy his own talking point because he's not talking about anything that he knows about. He's just an idiot. But let's keep going.
What I've studied, but if someone can enlighten me on other things I was not aware of.
I'm going to challenge that you haven't done any research. And the reason I challenge that is because I've talked to a lot of white supremacists. And maybe of the hundreds I've talked to, and this is not new since YouTube, I used to talk to real white supremacists who are, proactive and violent.
Well, I wouldn't declare myself a supremacist. I would say each racial group has their interest, and by domination, others take control. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I've talked to white supremacists, or in your case, if you like, white nationalists. I've talked to those who are scholars in that movement. And I find maybe about 98% are just what I like to call dumb racists. They just repeat what they heard others say. They've done actually no research whatsoever. So when you say your research, typically it just means that you're a quotologist. You quote things you've seen on social media. You quote Charlie Kirk, for example, or you quote some other goofball. And that goofball didn't do any research either. So
exactly. So it's the same thing where people like to debate the 1350 argument. I think that's more prominent. Where you'll see that all over Twitter, you see that all over YouTube, where these white extremists, they'll be online and they'll be like 1350. Black people commit 13% of the population are black people, but they commit 50% of all crime or 50% of violent crime. And then when you ask them to break that down, so why don't you take that 13%, break down the 13% of those people who actually commit the crime, break down their age groups, break down their gender, break down the crimes that they're committing, and then make sure that you add on the fact of people who got false in prison, people who cases get dismissed. Make sure you break down the difference between arrests and actual crimes committed. You know what I'm saying? Which means you were actually convicted. They don't know any of that history. They don't know any of, they're not even history. They don't know anything of that fact. They just know how to repeat 1350. But when you ask them to break down 1350, they can't break it down because they've heard it online from someone else because they're not smart people. Very simple. It's context. Context matters, and what Marquett is asking for is context. He can't give context because he's not a smart dude. He's very dumb. Let's keep going.
Would you tell me what book or what scholar, maybe what scholar, I think that's fair. Like, what scholar did you learn about African slavery from?
Well, I think you're trying to get me to say, well, if I didn't take a course in it from a college, that means
no, you don't have to take a course. You could have read a book. So I'm like, what book or scholar?
I've looked online numerously. I've looked at ChatGPT. I've been online doing research. But this is the thing. You want to focus on African slavery, right?
No. I want to focus on making sure that you're making arguments that have a premise that is reasonable. And you already started two arguments, and you're arguing against points I never made, mind you, which lets me know that you're kind of just going through.
Well, maybe it's not you made them, but people have made them.
To be fair, you can use ChatGPT for things, but you need to make sure that your source is coming from a correct place. That's the problem.
Yes.
And I apologize if you felt that I said you did it.
It's not what I feel. I'm operating on rationality. It's what I've observed. I'm listening to you. To observe attentively is to remember distinctly, and I'm observing attentively. So number one, with regards to African slavery, if you say that your research consists of ChatGPT, then I would have to...
Well, why don't you enlighten me?
Well, first, I need to tell you that that's not research.
Well, how am I wrong?
Wait, first. Do you realize that ChatGPT is not research? You realize
I have looked online, ChatGPT.
No, I will enlighten you. I'm more than happy to enlighten you. But do you realize that ChatGPT is not research?
ChatGPT can give you certain sources, and you can go look up those sources. But if I'm wrong by what I'm saying, if there's a different way someone became a slave other than one already being a slave and purchased, or they were free and conquered, please let me know what those other ways are.
I want to make sure that we're operating on a basic level so that we can be reasonable. So just on a basic level, I want to understand, do you realize that ChatGPT is not researching? Like, that's not research.
It's not peer-reviewed studied. It's not from a university. But
it seems like you have trouble with honesty.
You're talking about ChatGPT. You're not talking about how I'm wrong. How am I
will,
wrong?
but first we need to deal with this basic.
Okay.
Are you willing?
Somebody said he a Jew. Somebody said he a Jew.
To concede ChatGPT.
Now I gotta bleep that out when I upload this. You can't say the J word on live.
GPT is not research.
Okay. I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
I'm a
I'm not
stupid
trying
white
to
person.
degrade you. I'm just trying to make sure that we're on the
Can
same
you
page.
tell me how I'm wrong?
You don't have to
Can
be
you tell me how I'm
sarcastic. You
wrong?
can be sincere. You don't have to be
Okay, can you
sarcastic.
tell
Just
me
be
how I'm wrong?
sincere. So I'm asking you, do you realize that ChatGPT is not research?
Sure.
Okay, very good. Great. And this is important because there are people who are watching and they too have to learn. So number one, ChatGPT is not research. I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Okay, how am I wrong?
It is an aggregator. So it pulls together different sources, which could include Reddit, which is user generated, could include Wikipedia,
Right.
which
So you have to make sure that the sources are correct, because you can look up a lot of things on ChatGPT and they'll take their sources from whatever they feel like is the most relevant source. But if you don't know what that source is and it's not actually like factual, then ChatGPT tell you anything, which is why you need to break it down and be very, very detailed when you talk to ChatGPT. Like you need to make sure, like, hey, if you were trying to look up like, hey, what percentage of black men are married, you need to really like actually like make sure it's detailed and make sure you actually get down to a point. So, and then when you do get the stat, make sure that you look at the stat and make sure like you tell ChatGPT like this needs to be from the U.S. Census, actual marriage statistics from the U.S. Census or that are peer reviewed. Like you need to make sure that it's giving you facts, because it'll give you a Reddit post and be like, well, Reddit said this and this is the facts. So you have to be very descriptive when you're talking to ChatGPT. I always am, but a lot of people are not.
can be have submissions from everyday people, which means morons.
Yes, sure.
Now,
You have to do more research.
That being the
yes.
case, you were speaking about enslavement that occurred
Yes.
in Africa by Africans.
Yes. Yes.
There were typical ways that one could become a slave. One being becoming a POW, a prisoner of war. Another one being that you could, as you said, be purchased because you were already in the state of being a slave. This would be within a given tribe, nation,
Right,
or
Shadow.
political organization. And then the part that you miss is that you might be a criminal, and then you might end up in servitude as a result of being a criminal.
But so we have 13th Amendment here. Yeah, we still have that today.
Now, what you did not have is you were not a slave based on your birth, based on your ethnic or
Exactly what I was saying earlier.
racial grouping. Those are important differences. And furthermore, the institution of slavery was not brutal as we observe with chattel slavery in the United States. What we can agree on is generally probably slavery may be something that's a little bit off color, a little bit negative in either case. But what the Europeans did, the viciousness and brutality and evil of it is unparalleled. For example, if I were to ask you what's a common punishment that Africans did unto their slaves, there aren't things that are institutionalized such as lynchings or castration or the nature of torture or cutting off limbs, which you would have seen done in the Congo by the Belgians.
Did that never happen? Did they never
Well, do you
beat
know,
their
Scholar?
slaves? Or I mean, I'm pretty sure it did. There were millions of slaves
See,
there.
what
I'd
you
assume
can't do
some-
is
See, so did it happen? Okay. Well, he said, well, did it not happen? So basically trying to make a point to say that I'm pretty sure it happened. And then when asked, okay, well, prove your point. Where's your source? Where's your facts and data to prove that this happened? Well, I don't know. But it's like, again, he's trying to make a compare. He's trying to make a comparison. He's going back to that point of, well, it happened for them and happened for them. It's not the same. He's trying anything now because his initial argument did not work. So now he's trying to find anything to try to make a comparison. I'm pretty sure that's somebody that doesn't know at all. When you say I'm pretty sure, no, you just don't know. Idiot. Let's keep going.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it did. There were millions of slaves
See,
there.
what
I'd
you
assume
can't do
some
is
would
in a
gotten
debate,
beaten up.
you should not speculate. In a debate, you should come prepared to have discussions. And that's why I am actually the leader of the white supremacist movement, because most of you guys are too dumb. You're too dumb. You're not what your forefathers were. You guys
Shout out to Adam with a $5 donation. Burton has legit degrees from Berkeley and John Hopkins. Not really impressive since the Mick is half R word and possibly inbred. Entertaining though. Well, I think regardless, this is the thing, Adam. I'm gonna disagree with you, and I'm assuming you saying not impressive. The white dude is not impressive. Well, let me tell you this. I disagree, and this is why. Not to say that he's not impressive. What I'm gonna say is, you don't know who you're debating. You know what I'm saying? So if Marquett is debating this guy, and they said from the start that I guess he hit him out on Instagram or something, He doesn't know who this person is. He don't know if he's intelligent or not. So it's not Marquett's fault because this dude don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So I had a person that came up that was like commenting on my video one day. He was just like, well, your debates are weak because you don't debate nobody that's actually intelligent. So if I'm beating them and I don't know these people, I don't know their history, their background. So you're basically coming at me to say that I should be looked down upon because I don't actually debate people that are actually intelligent. So if I'm winning the debates, then what does that make me? And what does that make them? Are they not intelligent because they're debating me? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, it don't make sense. So I'm not disagreeing with you to say that this dude is a dummy because he clearly is, but it's like, it shouldn't be on the fault of the person who's winning the debate or winning the argument that, hey, you're not debating anybody that's smart. Well, nobody is looking smart if they losing the debate. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm saying. But I appreciate the $5 though, fam. Let's keep going.
You guys are too dumb. You're too dumb. You're not what your forefathers were. You guys are the dumb whites. You see, the intelligent whites, your Benjamin Franklins, your innovators, guys like that, not enough of them anymore. And so I have to take leadership of this movement because most of you guys don't even know your own history and you're not able to bring the whites of today any higher because you're not focused on the whites and your challenges. You're mostly hateful.
Right.
You're focused on hating others.
Right.
And that's the fundamental problem with the movement is you guys are not honest. Number one, you're liars. And number two, you're not realistic. I yield the floor.
Well, I do not have hatred for someone based just on their skin color. There are people who are white.
So like, I hate you because of your skin color and this other stuff.
White who are terrible. There are people who are black who are terrible. But what I have to do is understand people that look like me, who have my religion, who share my values, likely are more similar and aligned to myself and my interest. And it is smart to upfront be more understanding and be more aligned with them. Now,
funny part is this dude is Irish, which means you haven't even been white for what, give or take 100 years? Not even. When were the Irish allowed to be white in America? Like, you're Irish. You're not even a true white man. You're not an Anglo. You weren't here from the inception. You're not here since the 1600s. You got here probably got here in the 1920s. You're not even really white. And I wish Marquette, I wish he would ask him that question. I hope he does. I hope he does ask him, when did your European ancestors flee from the dirty, diseased, bestiality homelands of Europe? When did they flee from Europe and come over to America, to an established country? I hope Marquette asked that question. Shout out to It's a Gem. Thank you for becoming a member, sweetheart. I appreciate you, love.
different groups have different interests. Black people, they're tribal today. Hispanics are tribal. Asians are tribal. But white people have stopped being tribal, and that has been to our detriment. That has been to us losing. True? Every other group is tribal.
No, is it true that white people aren't tribal?
Not anymore. Not as much as they have. Our as you say, the white supremacy movement, our blonde Aryan leader is in a commune in Portland.
Shout out to Duke. This live is fire. How did I miss this debate? Appreciate you, Duke. Thank you for the follow. I don't know.
Portland. You say the white supremacy movement, our blonde Aryan leader is in a commune in Portland, engaging in I don't know if I can say it, but yeah, that's where a lot of the white Aryans are now. They're not leading the movement. They've kind of just surrendered.
If you would help me real quick, and this is an important thing, and I've helped the white supremacists with this one a lot. I'd like to see where you are with this one. What is it to be white? Like, if you want to define what is a white person, I'm going to take some notes right here. What is a white person?
Well, that's a very good question. And
you,
whiteness has expanded. It used to be Anglo-Saxons, right? I'm part Irish. I was not always considered white.
Exactly.
I was one of the dirty Irish people in the 1800s that
you still are.
They didn't like too much. But in time, we kind of assimilated into what whiteness is. And I would generally broadly say whiteness is generally European, well, not generally, is European heritage to an extent, but whiteness has expanded beyond just Anglo-Saxon because part Irish people were not considered white. And for me, I guess it kind of just like, if you look white, I would presume you're white, you know?
Okay. So here's an important thing. I surmise you've not grown up among black people?
I have actually.
And you know what? I think this is hilarious. And I knew he was going to say that. These people like him, and I'm talking about white extremists. If you're a regular white guy, I'm not talking about you. Regular white woman, I'm not talking about you. But you white extremists, I find it so funny that all of them, if you ever come across a white extremist and you were to ask them, hey, have you ever grew up around blacks? Hey, like, did you grow up with blacks like in your neighborhood? All of them have all grew up around black people. All of them. I just find it really funny. But if you ask most black people, have you grew up with that many white people? Most of the black people are going to say no. I didn't grow up with many many white people. So somebody lying. Because last time I checked, most black communities are like 99, 98, 97% black. Most white communities are like 99, 98, 97% white. So I find it very, 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 very funny and hilarious that most black people have not grown up around whites, but most white extremists have always grown up around blacks. I find that very, very telling. Somebody lying. Somebody lying. He said, I never even seen a white pussy. Yeah, nigga, I have. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making,
As you've not grown up among black people.
I have actually. I have not lived with, but when I was a kid, a lot of my best friends were black.
all of their best friends was always black. They are lying. That is a lie. All of their best friends were always black. All of them. All my friends were black. I used to listen to rap music. I used to play basketball. Like, all my friends were black and all my neighbors were black. You're a liar.
I went into, I lived in West Palm Beach for a little bit in Florida. So I do know a decent amount of black people, but I have not, grew up, I guess, in the same house. But
Curious. Okay. Fascinating. And if you're in Florida, these are not foundational black Americans. You might be dealing with Jamaicans or Haitians.
Yeah, Jamaican, yeah.
Exactly. So non-blacks.
It's not, a lot are not.
It's a different thing. But shout out to my Jamaicans. I actually have a reggae album for folks who'd like to check that out. It's on.
Shout out to the non-tethered Caribbeans. Shout out to y'all, especially them Trinidadian women. I love you. Mwah. Let's keep going.
On all places you stream music. Check out Marquettism, the Saint in the Center. Now, black Americans, we have a lot of cultural idioms, which are actually quite popular. You may have heard this one. It's, make it plain. Or we'll say, you're talking, but you ain't saying shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, so when I say, what is it to be white? If you'd be kind enough to just give me 3 points, not what whiteness used to be, but what is whiteness today for you? If you want to define like the white man and woman, what are 3 features you would give me?
Well, I mean, it would pretty much just be one of, European heritage, and you look white. I mean, I don't spend too much time doing DNA.
I'm so glad Marquette asked that question, because this is what I'm assuming is going to happen. Somehow, some way, more than likely, the small hats, the J people, are going to come up in this conversation. He just said a white person is someone with European heritage who looks white. So the J's, even though we know that the J is a religion, but they call it an ethnicity now. They try to make it like it's not a religion, it's an ethnic group. Okay, cool. Let's go with that. They don't consider the J's white, even though his definition of white is people who have European heritage, European ancestry, and look white. I find that funny. Let's keep going. And I'm glad Marquette asked him the question beforehand. So if it was brought up later, they were already talking about the J's, he can make a different argument and try to finesse his way through it.
You look white. I mean, I don't spend too much time doing DNA tests on people. I'm not really with the Aryan, I don't know if I can say what.
Did you take a DNA test?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Okay. Would you be kind enough to show us the results? I can give you the screen share.
No, I don't have the results on my phone, but I was 50%.
The results are emailed to you. You can also access them on the website.
Yeah, well, I don't have. It would be deep in my emails. It was something I did like 3 years ago. It's not something
Anybody with their email understands that if you're trying to look up an email, literally all you have to do is go to your emails. I don't care if it was 15 years ago. I have emails that I can find from 2013 when I was in high school. And it's very simple. All you need to do is if you know any word that could be associated with that email, you just type in the word. So if I'm trying to find a math test grade that I took back in 2013 when I was a sophomore in high school or freshman, I don't know 2013, might have been in the 9th grade, 8th grade, I don't know. I can go and look that up. And the fact that it was 3 years ago, then it's more, you can easily look those things up. I look at emails from 10 years ago sometimes if I need to go do it. So that's not hard to do. Thank you, big homie doo-wop. You can do with text messages too. So again, another liar. He's lying. These white extremists don't do anything but lie. And if you're not a white extremist and you're a white person and you take offense to any of this, then that makes you a white extremist, because if it doesn't apply, let it fly.
It would be deep in my emails. It was something I did like 3 years ago. It's not something I'm not someone who's so much like I have to make sure that they're pure Aryan blood. Like, that's not something I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about white people not standing up for themselves.
I hope Marquett asks him, does that include the small hats?
And being afraid to advocate for themselves. That's my problem.
That's tough. Okay. So when you say European heritage, how much European heritage does one need?
Right.
I mean, for me, it's like, do they look white? I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And even if they don't,
because I'll be
white,
honest with you. You look Jewish to me. No, really, you look Jewish, and in fact,
he's doing what I thought he was going to do. Shout out to Marquett.
I took a degree in political science with a focus on autocratic regimes. So studied a lot of the fascists and a lot of the Nazis. And they actually used to have propaganda that they would give the Aryan German children to describe what a Jew looks like. And obviously dark hair was one of them. You have dark hair. And then the shape of the nose would be yet another one. You have the nose shape. So like, to me, you look Jewish, which I also categorize as white. Do you also categorize Jewish as white?
No.
Gotcha!
No, I wouldn't, no.
So now you have to break down what is the difference between a J person and a white person. Now, Marquett he walked him into a trap. So now he has to go against his own point that he just made 45 seconds ago about what is white. You said white was someone with European heritage who looks white. Last time I checked, J people have European heritage and majority European heritage, by the way, and they look white. So let's break that down and let's explain that.
Now that's strange because most every Jew that has ruled Israel, if you track where they're from Europe, Hungary.
Well, if they have a European
Poland,
heritage, I mean,
Ukraine.
well, technically, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is, for me, I'm not super obsessed with like, are they white? Do they have the exact DNA makeup? That's not my thing, right? Maybe some people.
It'd have to be a little bit bizarre if you're not obsessed with how white a person is, because
not really.
Degree does matter, because, for example, like I have white DNA, so obviously I'm not a white person. So the question is, well, what percentage of white makes you white? So if I have 20% white DNA and I look like this, then what percentage do you need to legitimately be a white person?
To me personally, and I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for every. All I am is an individual who has beliefs. I can't speak for every white person, but I would say if you appear white, I would assume you're white. Like, I might have African DNA. If I showed up to the Black Student Union saying I want to join as a black person, I mean, I don't think you consider me.
They'll look at you funny, but they'll let you join. That's how black people are, actually. So black people are very accepting. In fact, I argue that colored people generally are quite accepting, and that's been largely their problem, is because unlike those of European heritage, colored people are very warm and accepting. If you look at the journals of...
I agree with that. Too many black Americans are way too accepting. And if you think he's lying, go to these HBCUs and look at the white guys that are in the fraternities.
Christopher Columbus, one of your guys, and you can reference the scholar Dr. Ivan von Sertima. They talk about his journals that he recorded upon coming to the Americas by accident. And he recorded that these people are so open, kind, friendly, and giving that if you would ask for something, they would give it to you thoughtlessly. There's no conception of private property. They're so open and friendly that they will be easy to conquer. And that quintessentially expresses the European mentality, which is one of domination and viciousness, not able to truly appreciate the goodness of this people, but rather to think it's easy to steal their stuff. I yield the floor.
And this kind of gets to the bigger question. Why are you bringing this specific thing up about white atrocities committed? And this is, I think it's very important
What
for
atrocity
all people.
did I just reference?
Well, you're talking about, you're hinting at it. Christopher Columbus, he conquered and enslaved a lot of people.
You have missed the point. We're talking about
can I respond to that point? Because you're trying to do a guilt trip, right? You're trying to do a guilt trip. You're trying to make
you're not Spanish. You said you're Irish. So that doesn't make sense.
But the thing is, this is the bigger agenda at play for white people here, right? They tell us.
But you don't know what white is. That's my whole point, is that when you say white people, you haven't even defined white. And that's why I have to question the IQ.
And you look white. That's what I consider white.
Do you realize
people
you look white?
Things.
Can you define you look white, please? Because I'm actually taking notes here.
Everyone has their own different perspective of it.
Yes, but I'm not.
This is idiot. This is almost. This. Now I'm gonna say almost. This is just as idiotic as when you ask a liberal, "What is a woman?" And then they say, "Well, someone who identifies as a woman." Okay, well, that's not a definition of the word. You can't use the word in the definition of said word if I'm asking for the definition. Because the Oxford Dictionary said an adult human female. But if you ask a liberal, and if you ask them what is a woman, they're going to say someone who identifies as a woman, someone who looks like a woman. Well, what does a woman look like? Well, a woman looks like anybody who identifies as one. Well, that's not the definition, dumbass. Same logic is applying here. He's a liberal white man. He's a liberal white man and don't even know it. Which is why the white woman is destroying America. The liberal white woman is destroying America. You know why? Because the white men are lost. The white extremist men like him, they're lost. They have no control over themselves and what they think, and they have no control over their woman.
Everyone has their own different perspective of it.
Yes, but I'm not asking everyone. I'm asking you, and I would be very thankful.
My perspective is it's a look test. If your skin appears white, I would presume.
No, I'm literally taking notes. I literally, that's how much respect I have for you. I'm taking notes. You said European heritage. I wrote that down. And then you said look white. And I cannot write that down because that doesn't make sense. Well,
everyone has to figure.
By the way, we have 474 people watching and we have 211 likes. If we can get those 200 likes up to like 4 or something, that would be great. So if you are enjoying the live, even if you're not enjoying the live, let's just say you're listening, you in the road, you driving trucks, you're working as a carpenter, you're doing DoorDash, you're doing somebody's hair, you're doing somebody's nails, you're cutting somebody's hair, whatever it is, whatever you're doing. If you're at work, driving a car, whatever it is, you're chilling at the house, making you some food, listening to this, I'll ask for you to hit the like button. It takes literally half a second. It's that button right below where it says the number and watching. Hit that like button for me. And make sure you donate to the live, support the content. Let's keep going.
Figure that out for themselves, right? There's people that are more into it than me, but the point is of what
How can you be a white nationalist if you don't know what it is to be white? Do you realize that's a touch ludicrous?
Exactly.
It is ludicrous. It is European white. That's what it is. You look white, you look European. If majority of people think you look white, you're white. But the greater point of what I said is this thing about slavery, Jim Crow, evil white man. It's to make me feel guilty. It's to make me say
it's to make you feel
I'm a bad
guilty?
person.
What he's saying is, this is a debate, you little bitch. This is a debate. Why are you acting like a little girl? He is a liberal white man. This is this is what's wrong with the white men of America. Y'all aren't masculine anymore. Y'all are weak. Too many black men in America are the same way. We call them out too, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about you. Y'all are weak. You're trying to hurt my feelings. You're saying this to make me guilt trip, to make me feel bad. I don't want to feel that way. You a damn man. Who cares? This is a debate, you crybaby. Nobody cares about your feelings or emotions. This is a damn debate. He didn't call you out of your name. He didn't disrespect you. He's debating you based on your delusional logic. You just don't like it. And this is what people do. This is how you talk to it. This is how women speak. So instead of us talking about said point that we're having, let's talk about how you're explaining said point, because it doesn't make me feel good. This is a damn debate. He don't know you. He don't owe you no type of respect, but he's giving it to you. This is a debate. Stop acting like a little girl and debate back. Be a damn man. Let's keep going.
Feel guilty. It's to make
Why
me
do you
say
think it's to make you feel
I'm a bad
guilty?
person.
Why
It's
do you
to
think
make
that? Where'd
me
you get it
say,
from?
let me open the floodgates and let Somalians, let all these other people who hate white people, who hate Christianity into the West. It's for me to
What?
lose my
Where did that come from?
country and to be reconquered. So this is
Reconquered?
why these things are told.
What do you mean reconquered? What are you talking about?
White people, British people always had Britain. German people always had German. Europeans conquered the American nation and made their own nation. And mass migration is how we are being reconquered.
You said reconquered. Linguistically, that means that you've been conquered before. So I'm asking you, who conquered you before?
Well, get conquered, I guess. That would be the specific thing, right?
Okay.
But
You don't even know the meaning of word. This is just like somebody with a high level of intelligence talking to somebody with a low level of intelligence. And you don't even have to. This is basic logic, like debate 101. Maybe because I talk to people every day for a living. Maybe because I debate a lot. That to me, this is simple stuff. And the chat, y'all are kind of making the point. Like the chat, y'all feeling the same way. This is simple stuff. And the fact that he is who he say he is, he's not who he says he is, but he believes that like something is wrong with Marquett is saying, bro, this is simple thing. These are simple things, are simple concepts. It's like I'm starting to question my own thought process. And like maybe I'm wrong, because there's no way he this idiotic. This is a grown adult who like is able to vote, who like probably has children and is able to buy a house and drive cars and be out in everyday society. I think this is crazy.
You go.
Yes. And we both, I think, know what the word conquered means. And so what you're actually describing is not conquest. And the reason I spoke to the nature of the European earlier is because it is unique in the context of the human spectrum. And the colored peoples tend to not be, conquering peoples. It's not in their nature. You mentioned a matter of capacity. I used the Chinese as an example. They clearly have the capacity. They've not shown this level of viciousness. So when you
China's in deep trouble, actually, if you look deeply into it. Their birth rate is collapsing.
Well, they have 1 billion people. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be just fine. And
no, they have a serious.
If you look at race categorically, you're trying to get me off topic, but I'll just entertain this momentarily, and then I'll get back to where I was because I have a good memory. Sure. But if you look at race categorically, and we'll look at the 3 primary categories that still exist, because you guys kind of eradicated one of the categories, which is the red man. But if we look at the primary anthropological categories, which would be Mongoloid, Negroid, Caucasoid, and we'd say you fit into the Caucasoid category, I fit into the Negroid category.
Shout out to BK with the $10 donation. Much love to you, fam. I heard if a white parent lost their child, they'll tell their children to find a black woman. That says a lot. I've heard that. I don't think that happens in mass, BK, but I've definitely heard that before, for sure. I've definitely heard that before.
In those 3 categories, if you total up and tally up this, which would be Mongoloid, Negroid, Caucasoid, and we'd say you fit into the Caucasoid category, I fit into the Negroid category. In those 3 categories, if you total up and tally up the number of persons in the Mongoloid category, more so we can call it Asian.
Carmeshia tipped $50. People need to stay in their debate classes. Like boxing, heavyweight, lightweight, featherweight. He's leafweight. Real light.
A leaf weight? Oh. Carmesha, thank you for the $50 donation. Much love to you, sweetheart. A leaf weight? I'm using that now. Just hope you know that, Carmesha. I'm stealing your word. I'm about to start calling nigga use a leaf weight, nigga. I'm about to start calling niggas leaf weight. From now on, I'm gonna just start like you're that light. You're a leaf weight now. I'm gonna start calling niggas leaf weights. I'm stealing that, Carmesha. I'm sorry. I gotta take it from you. We got to start using that, fellas. We got to make that a thing. And ladies, that's a new thing I'm using now in my life. We about to start calling niggas leaf weight. And this guy right here, he's definitely a leaf weight, for sure. Carmesha, thank you for the $50 donation, love. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. Thank you for the support.
You have the Chinese have in excess of 1 billion people. And then you also have to add in the rest of Asia, right? Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, which would include the Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, etc., and Indonesia, which also I think has probably in 1 billion people. So the Asians are doing fine. The Africans are doing okay, even though
Somebody said, aren't leaves heavier than feathers? It depends on the type of leaf you got. Not all. No, not all of them.
we have the Asians are doing fine. The Africans are doing okay, even though we have a lot of ecological problems, and also you guys trying to kill us through biological warfare.
Shame.
But
Yeah,
they have explosive population. Nigeria, Ethiopia are great examples of that.
do.
Whereas if you look at the Europeans, their population is in decline. But that's not because of anyone else. It's not because of the colored peoples of the world. It's because of the Europeans, and it's because of your own sickness, namely that which you would call feminism.
Thank you.
And liberal.
Exactly. Liberal white women is your problem, white man. That's what you need to wake up from. Feminism, hypersexuality, PORN, things like that. Abortion, trying to not being away from the nuclear family. That is why your population is dwindling down. Supporting homosexuality and making that be an agenda that is pushed not only in America, but also in Canada, also in the UK, also in your own white established countries. That is your issue. That's not black people's fault. It's your own fault, but there's no accountability. Not to mention immigration, which is whose fault? Your own fault. Unfortunately, black men are falling for that too, which is why I'm pushing back on that. But I know how to take accountability. I speak on accountability every single day. People don't like me because I call out foundational black Americans. Well, we need to do better. I call it out all the time, and I don't care who feels the way. You can unsubscribe and you can eat a dick. But the white man, that is your issue, and it's your own fault. Shout out to Marquett for cooking. Let's keep going.
Because of anyone else. It's not because of the colored peoples of the world. It's because of the Europeans, and it's because of your own sickness, namely that which you would call feminism and liberalism. And those are two creations of the white people that are hurting the white people. So why?
It wasn't by the
need
white
to-
people. It was
Who
by.
was it by?
Starts with a J.
It's the same people that he just claimed are not white, but then he said white is someone with European heritage who looks white. Last time I checked, the Jays have majority European heritage and look white. Let's see him kind of try to wiggle his way out of this. Again, no accountability, by the way. Like clockwork, no accountability. It's not us, it's them. No accountability. But then they allow the Jays to come over to America and still classify themselves as white. That's funny. Let's keep going.
Can't say
Yes, it starts with
but
a J, but all of those people are Europeans. They're white. That's why I asked you to define what white is, and you failed to do that.
there are elite interest of the Jays. Well, they see themselves.
The
as
Jays are white.
Jays. They see themselves, though. Okay, they may be from Europe, but
You
they see
literally said
themselves-
if you look white, you're white, and the Jays for
Can
sure
I-
look white. In fact, the ones that
Can
you're
I-
talking
can I-
about,
can
they
I
come
answer
from
the
Europe.
question? The Jays, they stay tribal. They may have European heritage, but they stay tribal. They marry within each other. They have their own communities. They advocate for each other's interests, and that's
So, whose fault is that? They're better whites than us. That's your own fault. Like, huh?
how they've been so successful in being able to get institutional power throughout the
Somebody
world.
said mayonnaise logic.
There are the non-Jays
Oh, man.
European. They used to be able to have a lot of power over the world, but because they got soft in the J propaganda, at the highest levels, not the
Do you
small
realize
guy
you're
who's a
talking
tailor.
about whites going against whites? Do you realize that?
It's white on white crime. Yeah, it's
There
white
you
on
go.
white
It's
crime.
white
Yeah,
on white
that's
crime.
what it is. And
Yes.
it's
So
a
why do you
problem.
even bring up the colored peoples of the world? That's not your issue. Your issue is your own people. You have to clean your house.
My issue is not with certain people, and I would agree with that, but my issue is not with individual people. It is people that do not speak our language.
He didn't
that do
say
not share-
individual people. He didn't say individual people. He just used the argument to say he said individual people. He didn't say individual people. He was talking about a mass of groups of people, different ethnicities, different races. They look different. That's what he said. He wasn't talking about a singular one person or singular one person. He was talking about groups of people. So what do you mean? He didn't say anything about individual people.
individual people.
He never said that.
It is people that do not speak our language, that do not share our culture, coming into this country, millions upon millions upon millions coming in per the year. That
Do you know who
is-
let them in?
It was a white guy. It was
The whites.
yeah.
Yes.
And there are some white saboteurs who do not advocate.
You're one of them. You are Irish. You came to America likely in the early 1900s. You're one of them. America was already established before America was established in 1776. You're one of them. You weren't here since the inception. You just said at the start, you're not an Anglo. You're one of the people who came from another place. What are you talking about?
Kate, for our interest. And what I tell white people, okay, that's what I tell white people. I'm starting out on social media, been banned a few times, but what I tell white people, okay, it's okay to advocate for yourself. It's okay to protect your country. There's nothing wrong with saying I want to live around.
But you guys are doing well. How do you know it's not just you doing poorly? White people are doing quite well. What if it's just you doing poorly and then you're projecting that? If you look at the data, if you get a list of the billionaires, we'll find that most billionaires are in America. And if you look at that list, you'll find that most billionaires are white. So why do you feel
Well,
like
I'll tell you what
trouble?
sold out the white working man in the West. It was elite whites that had
Elite
power,
whites, yes.
who shipped jobs overseas, lobbied the government for no tariffs, lobbied the government for tax cuts. They made their products overseas and sold them back in the West and made a higher profit, where the working class, non-educated white man was not able to get those jobs. The working class, non-educated white man, because they couldn't have a job, they couldn't have a family. And then those same powerful elite whites said that our population's going down. We need more people to come here.
So everything that he's speaking on right now is blaming his own group of people, but somehow it's always black people's fault. Shout out to CKT1249 with a $50 donation, man. Much love. This dude is doing white splaining BS. Literally, he's not even making a point. And even the point that he's going into right now is basically Marquette is trying to get him to look in the mirror. Your issue is with your own. Your issue is not the blacks. Somehow it's always the black people's fault. Always. It's always black people's fault about everything. It's just blacks' fault. Your issue is with your own. Thank you for the $50 donation, CKT. I appreciate that. Much love to you. Exactly. He's still describing white people's fault. It's just your own fault. Take accountability.
That's when they imported a bunch of people from the third world, from Africa, from South America, Central America, to create a tension in the country because they know diversity is not a strength. People that do not share your culture, your values, your beliefs do not strengthen you. They war against you. And that's what we've seen in the United States. That's what we've seen in the West. The people who
What's
are...
the number one issue for the white American, if you will, the white American?
Well, I say the white liberal is the big problem.
It's a big problem.
They're the one causing it. And I think you and I could agree on this point. The white liberal is what screwed up Black America. The Great Society was the worst thing that was...
Just like I tell my white supremacist followers that you have to clean your house first. So the number one enemy of the white man is the liberal white woman, it turns out.
Oh, yeah.
And
Preach.
the number one enemy of black people is their own nature, to not be able to recognize their enemy, to be too open and loving and accepting to those who hate them. That's the first issue. You can't expect your conqueror.
I would say the white liberal has that issue too.
May I complete a sentence?
I was saying the white liberal. Okay, there's white liberals that have evil intention, that are smart. They're not stupid. They're
definitely not stupid. In fact, they have higher IQ on average than white conservatives. So no, they're not stupid.
I'd have to look into it potentially. I mean, on average, I don't know. I haven't studied that particular point. But what I'm saying is there are some white liberals who know what they're doing, and there are some white liberals who are victims of the propaganda. That's all I'm saying.
What if white liberals have figured out that whites have evil in their nature and they're trying to reduce the impact of the inherent evil on the globe?
Well, I'd have to look at the white liberal intention, but if we look at crime,
they all the same to me. They both sides of pure stupidity. Now, are all white liberals and all white conservatives, are they all stupid? No. I think you have some that are very intelligent, but I mean, I think but you can find stupidity in any side. Like, you got a lot of black liberals that are completely idiotic, a lot of black conservatives completely idiotic. So I don't think it necessarily matters as far as the race, but I've noticed that when it comes to people like him,
they try to make it seem like the ideology is more important than the color. So I'll give you all an example of, you see this a lot when it comes to like a crime that was committed. Well, if a white person commits a mass crime, or a white person, or it's like a mass shooting, or like, for example, the dude that killed Charlie Kirk, their whole entire thing was to not base him as a white guy that shot Charlie Kirk. Let's base him as a white liberal guy who was a homosexual, who was Antifa, who was a Democrat. So that's why he did it. Not because he was white. It's because his ideology of believing in liberalism and believing in that he was a Democrat. But if it's a black person, they don't give a damn what your mentality is. They don't give a damn what you believe in. You're black. You did it because you're black. So if a black Republican, if a black conservative, if a black liberal, if a black Democrat does something that they find as incorrect, they're not going to make it seem like, oh, well, his ideology is why he did this. No. You're black. And that's just inherently in your nature to be a black guy who goes out and commits a crime. If a white guy does it, well, if he's a liberal, well, it's not the fact that he's white. It's just because he's a liberal. They love that separation whenever it's beneficial. Let's keep going.
Well, I'd have to look at the white liberal intention, but if we look at crime rates in the United States, it's not white people that are committing vast majority of the violent crime. It's people that are African American. Those are the people, men.
That's actually quite fascinating. Let's talk about that. And again, I predict that you guys use all of the same talking points, are actually generally very thoughtless.
I've looked at FBI data.
So,
I've destroyed the 1350 argument a million times. My most popular videos was me debating this dude about the 1350 argument and completely watched him. So I'm almost certain that Marquett is about to do the same thing. And if any of you whites or any of you black Republicans, a lot of you, because y'all want to kiss up to the whites because you're having sex with a white woman and you have to feel like that, well, to be a Republican, I have to hate the blacks. If any of you would like to debate the 1350 argument, we can do it live on camera. I will stop the show. You can come up and make sure you turn your camera on and we can debate 1350. If any of you would like to, I'll put the link in the chat. Make sure your camera is turned on. It's the only rule that I have. And I would destroy you up here on this platform. Because I know 1350 like the back of my hand. So I'm just letting you know. Let's see what Marquett do though.
Let's get into it, if you don't mind. You wouldn't mind doing a little bit of thinking with me, would you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Would you say that murder is bad?
Yeah.
Okay. What is murder, if you don't mind? Just so make sure we understand it as a same thing.
It is the unjustified taking of a life.
Unjustified. You see, justified is the tough part because that's the opinion, right?
Well, yeah, everything comes down to opinion. I mean, that's
okay.
If someone breaks into my house and I pew them, that would be a justified killing. There's a difference between. Or can we say these terms or no?
Yeah, we'll go with it. So let me just move this along a little faster. When you have the Nazi Party ruling over Germany, they have laws that themselves are wicked. And so what happens is if you look at the crime data, I don't know if you can say it's reliable in as much as the criminals are actually the ones running the government and creating the laws. Similarly, in the United States, we actually have the criminals are the government and they're the ones creating the laws. And they don't respect any law. I'll give you some good examples of this. You saw Donald Trump has violated international law when he was murdering civilians who were on those private vessels off the coast of Venezuela. Do you realize
who decides what international law is?
One
That's
second.
The UN.
1 second. If you wouldn't mind, do you realize that he was violating international law and murdering those persons?
Into some people's opinions, they may have that interpretation.
We're
but
not talking about some people's. We're talking about there are international bodies who have predefined this before he did it.
International bodies.
So if you don't mind using honesty rather than escapism.
Honest. At the end of the day, it's the laws of power that rule the world. It's not the rule of law.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So we'll take that then. We'll take that then. So you say it's the laws of power.
Yes.
That being the case, when you bring up your FBI statistics, it's all fraudulent because the laws of power enable certain groups to define what something is or isn't and what's included. And so my question to you is if we just look at it in a simple sense without the opinions, right, the perspective on what's good and what's bad, and we just look at a simple definition of murder is when a human takes or ends another human's life. And if we look at that simple definition where we don't have to be, no, sir, that's subjective. I think you're reaching the limit of your IQ here because you were just objecting to who defines.
Hey, what? It says you're reaching. I'm about to start using that. I think you're reaching the limit of your IQ. I'm about to start using that. I ain't never heard nobody say that though. I ain't never heard nobody use that. I'm definitely still in that. I think you're reaching the limit of your IQ at this point. I got to start using that.
No, sir. That's subjective. I
Well,
think
it's subjective to
you're
the
reaching the
courts.
limit of your IQ here because you were just objecting to who
I never
defines
insulted your
international
IQ. I
law
don't know
with
why you're
regards.
insulting
One
mine.
second. You were just objecting to who defines international law because it's subjective. And now you're inserting
Yeah.
subjectivity back into the discussion. So I'm asking
Exactly.
you to stop contradicting yourself, number one.
I'm
And
not
number two,
contradicting myself.
yes, you are contradicting
are.
yourself. Because when we define that Trump broke
You can't say, well, what Trump did, well, who defines international law? Well, the UN defines international law. So it's all subjective. So we can't say that it's murder because that would be subjective because the UN defines that international law. So regardless of what Trump did in Venezuela, we can't justify that we can't say that it's a murder because it's all subjective. But when it comes to America, when it comes to Black Americans, when you guys do things, oh, it's just it's completely from the power. It's completely set on the powers that be. So now it's not subjective anymore. Now you're okay with saying what the definition is. That's a contradiction. You can't use it whenever it's beneficial. You're only using it because it has to do with whites and one has to do with blacks. And you have to make the black people the bad guy because that's the narrative. And that's what white extremism is. It's not about facts. It's not about truth. It's not about making things make sense. It's I'm a victim and the blacks are the problem. It's been that way since day one. It's always been that way. You can't have a reasonable discussion with someone like this because they're not intelligent. Their whole entire framework is blacks are bad, whites are good, and everything that whites do is justifiable, and everything that blacks do is not justifiable. It's all within their nature because they're blacks. That's the truth. Nobody want to say that though. Let's keep going.
I'm
And
not
number two,
contradicting myself.
yes, you are contradicting yourself because when we define that Trump broke international law, all of a sudden you said, well, who's the one creating the laws?
Who's going to stop them?
You're having trouble focusing. The question is
someone
not who's
breaks
going to
into
stop
my
him.
home
Listen, the
and
question
I-
is not who's going to stop him. The question
Yeah.
is it murder or is it not murder?
I do not
And for
consider it
you, you're saying justification matters. Well, then
Mm-hmm.
who defines what's justified? In the case of international law, what's justified is defined by an international body.
Exactly.
Typically, we might reference the International Criminal Court. We might reference the United Nations. And
I missed a couple donations. I apologize. Shout out to CC with the $5 donation. Shout out to AAA Jackson with the $25 donation. She says, happy Friday, AntCEO. Happy Friday to you, AAA Jackson. Thank you, sweetheart. And shout out to Steve. Shout out to my guy, Black Steve, with the $10 donation. I appreciate you, Steve. Much love to you. Anybody that sends donations through Cash App, it's never that I'm just not going to say thank you. I just didn't see it because I wasn't looking at my phone. So anybody that want to support, I'll see it now. I apologize. Let's keep going. Shout out to y'all. I appreciate the donos.
reference the International Criminal Court. We might reference the United Nations. And those are the same bodies that are saying that Donald Trump has not been justified. He's in fact broken international law. So according to international law, that was extrajudicial. That was illegal. But the problem is that you're saying no, no, no. And that's why I'm saying.
Well, according to that, yes, it may be. Yes, according to their taking of the law.
Real quick, you guys are creating a meta debate. You're not really getting to the crux of the matter. What you're really doing is a bunch of African mumbo jumbo. This is actually a perfect example of why white people don't like dealing with black people. Cool. So since you're the intellectual here and we're not, why don't you come up and debate me and make sure your camera is turned on? And if you don't, that means you don't believe what you say. So I would offer you the opportunity to come up, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. And I'm going to offer you the opportunity to come up and debate me on whatever you have an issue with. There's the link right there. So stand on the things that you can type. Because if you can type it, then you should be able to stand on it and actually get behind camera and stand on it because you're white and you're superior than me. Your IQ is higher than mine. You should be able to easily watch me because I'm already incorrect because I'm black and it's my skin color that makes me less of intelligent. So come up. There's the link. Turn your camera on and let's have a conversation. I'll wait. I'll give you 2 minutes. It doesn't take that long. You're white, so you're higher IQ. You're smarter. You shouldn't take you that long to get on camera. So let's do it. I'll give you 2 minutes. By the way, you're not going to type anything else in this chat unless you come up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you for 24 hours. And until you come up on the platform, you got about 1 minute and 40 seconds left. You won't be able to speak. So come up, give your high IQ assessment that you have, and let's listen. Let's go. Let's have a conversation. I'll wait on you. Shout out to DD Got Politics, the $5 donation. Marquett insults people and speaks with condescension, but doesn't like it when people are that way with him. Can't celebrate that, and I'm on his side. And it's a debate. Who cares? Thank you for the $5 donation. We're waiting. You said this African mumbo jumbo, so come on. You should make me look like an idiot in front of how many people got in here? We got almost 600 people in here. So since it's all African mumbo jumbo, and this is why the whites don't want to be with the blacks, then let's have a conversation. Let's talk about it. I'm waiting on you. And I find it very funny how a lot of these white extremists like him, the one that we was just reacting to and the guy in the chat, they never actually have an intellectual like conversation. It's always, you're just black and we just don't like you. We just don't like you blacks. They never want to come up and actually debate. They can't debate. They literally cannot debate because they have a low IQ. So I'm going to put the link in the chat again for you. At this point, you got about 45 seconds. We're not going to wait all day. You're white, so you should be on time. We're still waiting. You got about 30 seconds at this point. And it does not take that long to get on camera, nor does it take that long to hit the link. It takes literally no time. It takes about 30 seconds to do so. Probably not even that. You look Nigerian, Igbo. What's wrong with being West African, yo? Who said anything was wrong with being West African? Are you just pulling that out of a tree that you're in? What are you talking about? Who said something was wrong with being West African? Nothing is wrong with being West African. Shout out to West Africans. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Nobody said that. You're projecting. You must have something wrong with West Africans. There's nothing wrong with being West African. And just like I thought, like clockwork, they never actually come up and have a debate. They'd rather sit in the chat. They never want to come up and have a debate. Usual suspects, scared to be confrontational. It's not even that they're scared to be confrontational, Mook. They're not smart nor intelligent people. So they actually have no argument to use because they're not smart. They get all of their information on anything that has to do with the world and specifically black people from Twitter. I saw a black girl fighting a white girl at Marshall's. So that's the blacks in 1350 and you blacks are a problem. The blacks. Okay, cool. You've been seeing a bunch of cherry pick stuff online. Now you have the opportunity to actually have a real conversation with someone who's a lot smarter than you. And since they know that, and since they know they're not well researched and they're not intelligent, they will never come up and debate me. And I've been begging for since I started this YouTube channel. And the one, he wasn't even a white guy, he was an Arab guy that came up and debated me, and I completely washed him. That video got over 100,000 views. It was one of my most watched videos. Completely washed him. And he wasn't even white. He was an Arab guy who wanted to be white, who classifies as white. But the white man in America today is so low level, the majority of y'all, that y'all let Latinos and you let Arabs, is what I like to call them, Arabs, come over to your country and classify themselves as you and then get mad because they're able to do that, even though that's of your own fault. It's funny how that operates, isn't it? By the way, he still has not come up and hit the link. Proving my point again of how low IQ and how scared you people actually are. You're weak. Let's get back to the reaction. And again, if anybody wants to come up here, you are more than welcome to. All you got to do is say the word, hey, Ant, I'm going to come up on your platform and I want to debate you. Cool. I'll drop the link and you can come up. I would have way more debates if people actually wanted to come up and talk to me. But no, they don't want to. Let's get back to what we were reacting to. Sorry about that. And I'm not African, I'm a black American. Anthony, you look like a Jackson 5 brother before cosmetic surgery. Shut up.
According to that, yes, it may be. Yes, according to their taking of the law, yes. But in that regard, so is President Barack Obama when he did drone strikes in the Middle East. So is every single other American president.
Which is irrelevant to the current conversation, you realize.
I think it's somewhat relevant.
You realize that's literally irrelevant to the current conversation. You have to stay focused. You have to stop with the red herrings, the distractions.
I'm staying very focused.
You have to stay focused.
Getting emotional here.
You have to stay focused. You have to stay
Okay,
focused here.
I'll focus.
You're having trouble. I notice every time I ask you a question, you start talking about a bunch of things. I asked you define the white race. You couldn't do it. And definition is fairly basic. You see, you can't even make an argument without making a definition or making sure that we're agreeing to a definition. But you weren't even able to define what a white person is while being a white nationalist. No, you didn't.
It's white. It is white skin, European heritage.
White
That's what I
skin,
consider it.
European heritage. And then I asked you, what percentage of heritage would you have to have, genetically
Okay, but
speaking?
I haven't thought of the specifics. If I would say 75% you would look white. So, I mean, I guess that's a fair
And then
answer,
my challenge,
75%.
because as I said, you look Jewish and you said you took a DNA test. I said, would you mind sharing your DNA results? Because I don't think you're white. And
Well,
you
I
won't even
don't
share your
have
results. That's bizarre,
have them
though,
in
because
front of
we
me.
all know if you go into your email address, all you have to do is type in like ancestry.com or whoever you took your results with, and it will pop right up and you can just log in, or they actually email it. You can just show us. Like, why are you scared to do that? Were you lying?
I don't even remember what.
Were you lying
I think
to us?
I think it was Ancestry. I think it's.
Were you lying to us?
I got a thing back here. So, where is
Hold on real quick. This is how you know somebody is lying. How do you just go from looking around the room that you're in, like it's sitting on the table? Like, huh? Did y'all just see what he just did? So he's asking him about his DNA results that will be in his email. This dumbass started looking around the room as if it's like on the table, like it's a pen, like he's looking for a pen or a cup of water. Look at this idiot.
I'll let you just show us. Like, why are you scared to do that? Were you lying?
I don't even remember what.
Were you lying
I think
to
it was.
us?
I think it was Ancestry. I think it's.
Were you lying to us?
I got
What?
a thing back here. So.
He look like you're not even looking at nothing. You just lying. He's just lying. This idiot is looking around the room. It's not on the wall, dumbass. Like, huh?
I think it was Ancestry. I think it's.
Were you lying to us?
I got a thing back here. So, where is it?
You can. It's okay if you lied.
Thing is,
I've lied before
I don't need
too,
to
on
find. I don't
accident.
need to. I don't need
I
to find
understand,
it.
but
I
if
don't
you
need to
lied,
prove
you can just say
anything
I
to
lied.
you.
I've lied before in my life
Well,
as well.
I don't have to prove. I don't have to. Prove
I'm a human
anything
being
to
just like you.
Right.
So if
Yeah,
you lied,
yeah.
you can just say that you lied.
I've lied in life. You've lied in life.
Yes, I know.
do
So
not have it
you lied
pulled up in
about.
front
Did
of
you
me.
lie about taking the DNA
I
test,
did not
or
lie
did you lie?
about it.
You did not lie about taking
That's
it.
what I said. The truth. Now, do you want to get on to the
Just real quick.
international
No,
law
real quick.
point, or do you want to
So-
focus on my whiteness?
No, your whiteness is important
Okay.
because it can help us define. Because if you consider yourself white, but you only have like 60% European DNA, then we
And I
can
guess I'm an
redefine it.
ally. I'm an ally then.
I know, right?
I'm not a pure
But
white. I'm
may
an
I
ally.
ask you, if you are all about being white, which is a racial thing, which is in turn a biological and genetic thing, as you understand it, why won't you share what your genetics are?
I'm not going to spend 20 minutes to find
No,
it.
it
I
won't
did
take
like
20 minutes. Really,
3 years
really,
ago.
it would actually only take 1 minute. And if you want to take 20 minutes, we'll give you 20. But I think it would only take 1 minute, unless you were lying.
I have no desire to look through all these things. And
No, but we
show-
have a desire
show
to
what I
know.
am.
We have a desire
Okay,
to know.
well, that's not what.
So the white nationalist who really cares about the European heritage and European history, and he cares about the basically the future of white people and their countries, doesn't want to show his results, his DNA results about being white. And also, he can't define what white is because he said white is someone with a European ancestry or European heritage who looks white. But then the Jays aren't white. If that's not some of the most idiotic, most delusional stuff to ever say, I don't know what is. This is how women talk when they're explaining, like, I can't find a man and I'm 34 who's 220 pounds and I have 4 children and I'm divorced 3 times with 5 different baby daddies, or I guess you can't have 4 children, 3 different baby daddies. And you actually look at them in their face and be like, you don't know why you're single? No, my kids and my weight and my attitude doesn't matter. I don't cook, I don't clean. This is like talking to the women that I talk to on my dating show. Very delusional. But again, he's a liberal white man. He just doesn't know it. So I'm not surprised. Let's keep going.
all these things.
No,
And
but
show,
we have a desire
show
to
what I
know.
am.
We have a desire
Okay,
to
well-
And
know.
the reason why he probably doesn't want to show his DNA is he could be lying about it, but if he's not lying about it, it's because he's probably Jewish, or he has a lot. Somebody just said it. he has a good percentage of Latin in him, and he doesn't want that to be the case. He doesn't want to show that. So he's like a Nick Fuentes. They have a gay Mexican as their leader who's like 5'6" and can't fight. I don't know. Couldn't be me.
To look through all these things.
No, but we have a desire to know. We have a desire to know.
Well, that's not what the conversation was on, right? So
no, I don't. No, the conversation is about race. I'm literally asking you about your race. So this is actually perfectly on the conversation.
So we were talking about race. I defined now with clarity, 75% plus European, you're white. That's what I considered.
75 plus DNA. And yes, and now I'm interested in, are you white?
When I looked at it, it was 90 or 80. It was in the high 80s, low 90s white, the European.
And I'm saying, do you mind if we take a look?
I'm not going to go through all my phones and find it. Okay, I have like four phones. Okay,
it's not about going through your phones. Like, this is not 1992. You just have to go in your email address because they're going to email you the results.
Do you want to talk about the international law thing, or are you just focused
I'm just truly
on
curious as to why you won't share your DNA results.
Okay. Do you want? I don't.
No, I'm just asking why you don't want to share your DNA results.
Oh my God, what do you want me to say? I'm lying so we can move on? Okay, yes, I made it up. Okay,
no, I'm asking why. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. If I was a white supremacist and I was like 90% European,
I never said I was a white supremacist. I'm a white
or a white nationalist. There you go. Yeah, a white nationalist. If I was a white nationalist,
or if I'm not pure white, I'm an ally. I'm an ally.
Huh.
Okay. Well,
people are saying you're Jewish in the chat.
Well, they can feel however they want, right? It's not my job.
But why not just show us the DNA test? That's why technology is so great. As a white supremacist, I really appreciate that the whites have created this opportunity for us to verify who is and who is not white.
Do you want to talk about the international law thing, or do you just want to focus on my whiteness?
No, I want to first take care of the white thing, and then we can go on to greater arguments. And I'm just curious as to why
I don't know. I don't know where it is. I just saw a document that I got three years ago or 4 years ago. Yeah. And it said it was like 80s, 90% white. Okay. I don't know where it is. Okay.
I think there's only 2 major companies that do the DNA testing.
What?
So
like
do you want to keep talking about this, or do you want to talk about?
Which I don't know. Some of that DNA test stuff is like, a lot of it is not accurate, but
the issues that we were talking about.
Well, I think us knowing if you're.
This is how the boss looks at you at your job after right before he's about to fire you. Look at him.
That we were talking about.
Look at his face.
Well, I think.
Look at him. Right before you about to get your ass fired. You know, we really like you being here. You know, you've been here for a while. You've done some good stuff for us, but you keep coming in late and like, you know, they do that little fake smile and they do the thing where they hide their lip.
The issues that we were talking about.
Well, I think us knowing if you're white or not.
Okay, I'm not going to be able to prove to you I'm white. So do we want to keep talking about this, or do we want to? Yeah,
I know it's like either Ancestry or it's 23andMe. It's like literally if you just type one or the other in your email, it'll just pop right up. Okay. Be really quick. Like
but do quick. You? Take like a minute. So I can't find it for you. So what do you want to do for me?
But why though? Like, why don't you want to check?
Okay, do you want to talk about international
I'm just asking
law
you, why don't you want to check one time? Like, why don't you want to check?
What do you want me to say? I'm made it up or whatever?
Why are you not answering the question?
I made it up.
Why don't you want to
check? It never happened. I made the whole thing up.
Okay. Anyways, so let's look. You were talking about crime, and I think one of the most heinous crimes is murder, which is a human being taking the life of other human beings.
Yeah.
And we should really invest in stopping this particular crime because it is among the worst on earth. Some would say it is the worst. In my opinion, it's not the worst. But with that being the case, we really need to look at, well, who are the murderers on earth? And let's just do a little bit of back of the napkin math, if you don't mind. So it is conservatively estimated that the Europeans eradicated about 120 million persons from North America alone. And also, we see that you guys are still at war right now in Ukraine. For example, Ukraine and Russia, those are both European countries.
I'm worried about America. I'm America.
I hear you, buddy. I hear you, buddy. But we're talking about white, which is a racial grouping. And you say that you're America first, but you're talking about European heritage just a moment ago. So America is a nationality.
What is defined.
Yes, America is a nationality, and European, as you reference it, is a racial category. Correct. So right now I'm talking about Europeans, which are white people. Pay attention. Now,
Yes.
so we have looked at the murder rate, and I think that's the most important rate. The murder rate of the whites is just so much higher. Not only is it higher than the blacks that you referenced.
Then go live in Compton.
One second.
Go
You
live in
don't
O'Block.
have to
If these
interrupt.
black
You don't have to
neighborhoods are
calm
so
down.
safe, go
Calm
live
down.
there.
You don't have to interrupt. Calm down, young man. You don't have to interrupt. Calm down. Just calm down. Just calm down for a moment. Don't interrupt. Be civil.
A low impulse control. He can't control his reaction because he's not smart. So he's getting out of his body and he's very reactionary because he has a low impulse control and he's not smart. He has low IQ.
Just calm down. Just calm down for a moment. Don't interrupt. Be civil. Not only are whites way more violent than blacks, I would even charge that if you took every racial group except whites, Asians, Arabs, indigenous people, and blacks, and you put them all together, still the murder rate of the whites dwarfs every other type of human. You guys are the most vicious, violent, evil-natured humans
Then
on
why
earth.
do you all want to live here?
One second. Calm
Why do you
down.
all want to be here?
Calm
Nope,
down.
It's not.
You came over to America. You're Irish, buddy. You're not an Anglo. You're Irish. You came over to America. Black Americans were here well before this country was established. This is our country. We're more American than you. For any white person that's watching this live right now, sorry to tell you, but you're not American if your family was not here from the inception. If you can't trace your lineage before the 1860 census, you're not American. You're someone who fled the dilapidated places of of Europe, and came to America because you couldn't get anything going in your homeland because there was nothing but crime, filth, sex, bestiality, and everything else that no one wants to live around, which is why you fled and came over to America, because it was an established country that who built off of free labor? Black Americans. Now, I'm not one of those people that like to say America was only built off of blacks. No, there were white people here, and the Anglos were here from the inception. Even though they were here from a place of, colonization and destruction, they were still here. But at the end of the day, unless your family was here from day one, you are an immigrant, and that's all you'll ever be is an immigrant. You won't be anything past that. You're an immigrant. You fled your homeland. Go look at the ruins of the place in which your lineage was from. It is destroyed. You had the plague for a reason, because you people could not shower. Disgusting people. You're Irish, buddy. You're not even white. You're someone who's able to classify as that on paper. You're not American by blood. You're American by paperwork. That's the difference. Let's keep going.
Humans
Then
on
why do you
earth.
all want to live here?
One second. Calm
Why
down.
do you all want to be here?
Calm
Nope,
down.
It's not safe. We're dangerous.
Wait, calm down. Let me finish.
Why
And
are
this
you
is what happens when the truth comes out. You just can't control yourself. You start getting uncivil.
I
Calm
won't
down.
speak.
Calm down. 1 second. Calm down. So your murder rate is so much higher than every other group. So we probably should be focused on dealing with the violent nature of the whites as opposed to anything else, because I think it's the most critical thing. I yield the floor.
Well, if we look at today, okay.
Someone said, by that logic, Trump is not American then. He's not American. I'm not a Trump supporter. Maybe you should watch my content more. I don't support Trump.
Inner cities, it is predominantly unfathered, uneducated.
And Trump isn't even, you damn right Trump ain't American. Trump is every other country first. All the money Trump is Israel first. He's not America first. Said that as if like that was a gotcha moment. I'm not a Trump supporter. I didn't even vote in the last election. Idiot. Maybe you should do your research on me and who you're talking to. Because I'm a conservative and I have conservative views doesn't mean I support Trump. You should do your research before you talk.
Are you going to respond to my actual argument?
Christopher Jennings tipped $50.
Young
Dude is
black-
acting childish now.
Shout out to Chris with the $50 donation. And this is what people do. This is what people do when they don't have an actual argument. Because he was spazzing out. He was doing all this, going back like, you don't actually have an argument. You're getting stumped, which is why Marquett had to say, calm down, relax. It's like talking to a toddler. Shout out to Chris with the $50 donation. Much love to you, OG. Let's keep going.
Uneducated.
Are you going to respond to my actual argument?
I am responding to your argument. Young black men that are committing the crimes in our inner cities. That's the truth. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. It's not a conspiracy theory. Now, to address your point, This world was a very, 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 still is, vicious place. White people, they conquered, they committed atrocities.
I wish Marquette would have got on that point. Because he's one of those 1350 guys. The 13% of population commits 50% of the crime. Man, I would have destroyed him in the debate talking about that. That's my favorite thing to debate, probably, is the 1350 argument. I've debated it plenty of times on Twitter, but that's probably my favorite thing to debate, because it's like, y'all are so idiotic in y'all talking points. It's crazy. I wish he would have got on that.
White people, they conquered, they committed atrocities.
Somebody said the Irish literally used to eat dirt, especially during the potato famine. It's like, you Irish, dude. Like, come on, you're not even an Anglo. Be quiet. You talking as if you established here. You came here. You didn't establish here. Stop it. Would you ever run for office? And no, because they would take me out. The little liberal white guy is coming out now. Oh, he's been a liberal white guy the entire time, Ultimate. If you've been here from the start, whole time he's been crying about he's a victim and you're making me feel bad. You want me to feel sad and you're trying to hurt me. And he's been doing that the whole entire video. The whole entire reaction, the liberal white guy has been coming out.
Mongolians under Genghis Khan, they conquered, they committed atrocities. Atrocities, I don't know, say that word. Mass atrocities.
Somebody said Irish people ate dirt. Damn, they was hungry as fuck. He said, damn, that was hungry as fuck.
Atrocities, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a definition of a white tether. He's a white tether.
Say that word. Mass atrocities are not exclusively to white people. You can go back and forth.
Is there a preponderance?
I mean, if we look at North America and Australia, they have committed, white people, when they conquered, when they warred, they committed many atrocities. That's what.
Well, what I'm asking you is there a preponderance? Is there a clear indication that whites are more inclined to commit genocide and feel fine about it? Well, they were the one
that conquered most of the world. So according to that, our world, we don't have alternate realities, but according to our world, they committed more than likely the most amount of mass crimes growing the world.
By far, right?
On this world. And can I give you a thought experiment? I'm very curious what you would say to this. It's a real quick thought experiment.
You don't want to finish the current topic first?
But I think it comes down to, okay, this happened, but what do we do about it now? Right.
Yes, what we do about it now is we get whites under control so they stop killing. World War I, whites. World War II, whites.
We're under control.
World War III, whites. We have to get your nature under control. People like you have to stop thinking that mass murder is cool. Like you got to stop.
Cool.
You got to stop.
It's cool.
No, you guys do think it's cool, and you have no qualms about it. You have no moral qualms.
You're saying you guys.
Yes,
like
the white collective. That's correct.
And I just said, I don't think mass murder is cool.
Well, you must, because we hear you defending it.
Cool.
We hear you defending it, so you must.
This world was very vicious.
The world has always been the same.
And it comes down to, what do we do about that now? Why are you trying to?
I just answered it. I told you we have to get whites under control so they can stop killing so many people.
These dangerous white people committing these atrocities. Why? And that's the thing every white person has to ask. Why are they telling us this? Why are they telling us this? Is it they want us to have compassion?
Let's think about, I'll give you an example.
It's because they want us to surrender our countries to the
I'll give you an example, young man. So are the whites, in fact, let me use your knowledge real quick. Let's use your knowledge.
Sure.
Name me 2 black countries that have attacked other countries in 2025.
I know there's a civil war going on. Well, Somalia, they're having a giant tribal civil war.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question.
This is a fudging idiot. Anybody that's watching this live right now, or is going to watch this when I upload this, that thinks this dude is any type of intelligent, he asked you a simple question. I don't understand how that was your response. Name me a black country that has infiltrated another country. Somalia is its own country. That's its own country. And to add on to that, somebody said in the chat, Somalians are not black. They don't even consider themselves black. Are you an idiot? You ask him anything. If you ask him anything, he's just going to completely deflect and give a delusional answer. I would hate having a normal conversation with this dude. Like, you can't even walk into a Starbucks and be like, hey man, how's the family? Because he's going to start saying some crazy stuff. You cannot ask him anything. Let's try this again.
In 2025. Countries.
Sure.
Name me 2 black countries that have attacked other countries in 2025.
I know there's a civil war going on. Well, Somalia, they're having a giant tribal civil war.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question just to help you out. Name 2 black countries that have attacked other countries. That's the question. Now go.
They are. I get you're trying to push your narrative here because
I asked you a simple question. Name 2 black countries that have attacked other countries in 2025. That's what I asked you. Keep your hands up. We don't want you using Chat GPT. Just keep your hands up. If you can keep them in the view.
Right here.
Now just answer the question. Just answer the question.
If I answer this, will you answer my hypothetical?
We can go through your hypothetical. I got you on a logic line real quick. So there's a few more points.
I will answer if you agree. You'll answer my hypothetical.
I told you I will engage it once we finish my logic lines. No problem at all.
As far as I know, 2 black countries that have been recognized by the United Nations, by the world, by other nations. To the best of my knowledge, there has not been 2 black nations, predominantly black nations, that have engaged in a war. There's been tribal conflicts going on in all these regions, but as far as I know.
So your answer is that you cannot name 2 black countries that have attacked any other country on the planet Earth. Okay, fantastic. Now, are you able to name, I don't know, say 2 white countries? And when I say white, that means that the primary population is white and or the primary composition of the leadership class is white. Can you name 2 white countries that have engaged in war?
I think Russia and Ukraine is what you're going to reference.
There's 2. Can you name another 2?
Azerbaijan, that's not really West Middle East.
I wouldn't really consider them white. Other. But how about the United States? I said attacked another country. With the United States, there's one. Israel, there's one.
Well, we took Maduro from Venezuela. That was an incredible operation, I have to say.
And this is my point: it's your evil nature that you think these things are okay and normal. Only evil nature would make you think that's okay.
So you think Maduro should have stayed in power?
This is the problem with whites, is your nature is so evil and it's to dominate. And because you want to dominate everyone.
Seems like the Venezuelans are pretty happy.
One second. Because you want to dominate everyone, your evil nature, you think that you get to control others.
And you want to dominate this conversation.
I believe in sovereignty, which is to say self-rule. Venezuelans are Venezuelan. They're not white. They're not American. Let the Venezuelans handle their own affairs. So when you call it, they took the sovereign leader of another country, that's not taking, that's an attack on the country, and it's the kidnapping. Well,
technically, he wasn't recognized as the leader of that nation.
That's not true.
International law,
you're literally lying. Don't do that, young man.
They didn't recognize him.
Don't do that. You're literally a liar. Don't do that.
Him as the leader of that country.
You sound like a fool, and you just sound very dishonest. Don't do that.
You're sounding like a fool right now.
You sound so foolish. I'm being nice to you, even though you sound foolish, but don't take it too far.
I think I've been pretty nice too.
You're in the weaker position. You have to be nice. Everything about you is inferior. You have to be nice. That's why you're a white supremacist, because you can't achieve on your own as an individual.
Look at the white countries. Everybody wants to come.
You use the collective to feel proud of yourself, but you yourself, you have no accomplishments. I already know that.
I feel good about myself.
You have no accomplishments. Where'd you go to university?
That's fine.
Where'd you go to university?
You can have your opinion.
Where'd you go to university?
It was called Mercyhurst University.
Mercyhurst University. Did you graduate?
I did.
Congratulations. What'd you take a degree in?
Cybersecurity.
Very nice. That's pretty good. And Mercyhurst University, is this a prestigious school?
The answer is no.
Say no. Just say no. Stop wasting time. Just say no.
What, you went to Berkeley and you're so educated. And,
just say no.
Smart guy.
It's consistent. None of you guys are accomplished. You guys are all nobodies, and that's why you need white supremacy to say I'm important.
Feel how you want.
I'm important because of my race. Okay, so you went to a nobody college, and then what? What else have you accomplished? You went to a no-name college. What else have you accomplished? Just real quick, hurry up.
Up here debating with you. I've made some money in crypto.
Crypto. Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not a wealthy, powerful person.
I never actually thought about that until now, and I think that's a great point. The reason why people like to join other groups of people to try to make it seem like, they're just as important as them, it's because they can't get stuff popping on their own. It just is what it is. I do know that I am proud of my Black history. I'm proud of being a Black American man. I'm proud of my ancestors, and I'm proud of what they did to where I'm able to reap the benefits off of the work that they did. I'm proud of all the creations and innovations. I'm proud of the music, the style, the culture that we created as a Black American community. But that is not why I am who I am in a sense of me as an individual. Like, I don't use that as my leverage for everything in life. Well, I'm Black, so like, no, like that's not an excuse. You know what I mean? And because he hasn't done anything in his own life, like Marquette just said, well, I'm important because I'm white. Okay, if that's your argument, but you're not important because of your own right, because you haven't done anything worth of any value that other people see as this is what you have done individually. Congratulations, because you're too weak and too effeminate to do anything individually because you're a soft beta male. You're weak. So I need to rest on the fact that, as long as my skin color is white, that's all that matters. Because you can't do anything else. You can't lean on anything else. You haven't accomplished anything in life. That's funny.
So, oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not a wealthy, powerful person. I'm not pretending I run the world.
Do you have any other accomplishments? Like, have you gotten awarded for anything? Have you won any contests, like debate? Nah,
high school basketball captain.
No, after that. How old are you?
High school.
How old are you?
Did this nigga just say high school basketball captain?
I'm 25 right now.
You're 25. Well, you're a young man. That's very good. You got your whole life ahead of you.
He's 25. He looked like he's about 38.
Have you done anything?
He's one of the ugly white guys too. Like, he's one of the white guys that didn't get girls growing up. Like, he wasn't a Zach or like a Kyle or like a Cody. He was like a Daniel. He was one of those type of guys, like with a see-through book bag. You can see all his pencils in his notebooks in his folders. He was one of those nerdy guys that didn't get girls. Remember those kids? Remember those like lame white guys at high school? If you went to school with a couple white guys, he had like a see-through book bag. He wanted everybody to know what new book he had. Looked like my folders. Like he used to label his folders math, science. Like he was in the 4th grade. Like he was one of those guys. You could tell. He wasn't a Chad. He wasn't like the cool white guy who was like athletic and he was like smart, good looking, charming with girls, cool with everybody, listen to a little bit of rap music, but like maybe mess with one black girl, but like he had all the white girl. Like he wasn't the jock. He wasn't like the cool white guy starting quarterback, starting basketball player on the basketball team. Like he wasn't one of those cool white guys. He was one of the lame white guys who the cool white guys used to bully. He's one of those. He was like a Daniel or like a Nathaniel or something. Now he was one of those type of white guys. Like a Steve. He wasn't a Cody.
Well, basketball captain.
No, after that. How old are you?
High school.
How old are you?
I am 25 right now.
You're 25. Well, you're a young man. That's very good. You got your whole life ahead of you. Have you done anything significant? Like, for example, when I was 25, I was living in South Korea running an international tech business that I founded from scratch.
That's impressive.
It's very impressive.
It is.
So what do you have to your name at 25?
Well, right now I'm still building myself. I haven't
That's
solved
my point.
all the world's problems.
I never, ever meet a white supremacist who themselves are supreme. You see, I never meet one who's actually successful. It's only the ones who are the white guys who are low skill, low income, low IQ. Those are your white supremacists. And as I will repeat, because it's so white nationalist, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. That's not
it's so consistent. They need the race to feel like they're somebody. Now, that's why you had called me a black nationalist on your Instagram. The reason I'm not a black nationalist is because I'm the opposite of your situation. Your situation is where, say you have the white collective, right? So this is the white race and this is the range. You're at the bottom of it. So when you identify with the group, it raises you up. Here's the black collective. I'm toward the top. So if I identify with the group, it would lower me. You see, it's not a lot of benefit. Now, clearly I'm a black man, but I wouldn't say I'm a black nationalist because I'm not a race man.
It's a good point. I agree. It's a good point.
I'm more so about the good peoples of the earth. Who are the good people?
Well,
Be
me
them
too.
black,
I
white,
want good
Arab, or
people.
otherwise.
I want good people.
But anyways, getting back to the point earlier, I'd asked you a question, and it was about countries attacking other countries. And I said the United States attacked Venezuela. The whole world views that as an
Successfully.
attack. No one views that as a good idea.
Yeah, the people of Venezuela do. That you see them celebrating in the streets, how happy they were. That
Do you really want to get into that conversation? Do you think that you're qualified to have that conversation?
let's please.
Okay, let's get
do
into it real quick. Why are the people of Venezuela celebrating? And mind you realize that there have been more documented people protesting on behalf of Maduro than the opposite. Do you realize that, number one?
When I see people celebrating,
My first question. You mentioned protesting, celebrating. There's actually more people protesting on behalf of Maduro. Do you realize that?
Of course, there are people protesting on behalf of Maduro.
Okay,
but
great.
there's also people who were very excited that he was gone.
Sure. Do you know why?
There was a friend of mine in high school.
Don't get
Her
anecdotal.
family
It's a total
was
waste of
from
time.
Venezuela.
Anecdotal is a total
They
waste of time.
lost everything.
Wait, hold on
when
one second.
socialism came.
This is why university is important. No one cares about your friend.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're about to go into this point. Using anecdotal examples to try to base your example for the general consensus is a low IQ talking point. So you can't say, well, I don't think people are poor because everybody around me isn't poor. I don't think people are dumb because everybody around me isn't dumb. So it's like sometimes white people do this. Well, I don't think racism exists because nobody I know is racist. Women do this. Well, I think all men cheat because everybody, all the guys I know and all the girls that I know of have been cheated on. So all guys cheat. I think all guys are abusive because, well, all the guys I've dealt with were abusive. That's not a talking point. You're taking the fact of your own 5 mile radius word. I use that a lot. I like to call it a 5 mile radius mindset. Is because you can't get your head out of your own ass. So the only thing that you see is the people around you, but you don't know that the world exists outside of your reality. And what you see is not actually factual. What you see is not actually happening in mass, especially someone who uses the internet to try to base their point. So you can't say that because the internet, if you don't know how the internet works, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all of these things are algorithm-based platforms. So they're going to go off of what you like to watch. So if you like to watch issues with, I don't know, if you like to watch sports, well, guess what? If you like to watch baseball, and if you watch 2 or 3 baseball videos and you click the page and you go through their videos and maybe you like to and you click off, well, guess what? When you refresh your page on whatever platform you're on, you're going to start seeing more baseball videos because the algorithm wants you to see that because they want you on the platform longer. That's how Twitter works. You ever notice if you watch something on Twitter, well, guess what? Twitter is going to keep you in that section because they want to keep you on the platform because clearly that you watch this stuff and they get more money based on you watching the platform. Idiot. So you can't say, again, this is to the black fatigue crowd. Well, I see all these videos of black people committing crimes. Yeah, because it's your algorithm, you dumbass. If you actually walk outside and go to the average black community, the average black person is going to be nice with you. The average black person is going to be respectful. They're not running around committing crimes everywhere. The average black person is going to work and coming home. The average black person has a job. The average black person doesn't have a criminal record. But you wouldn't know that because you're an idiot who sits on the internet all day and get on your talking points from Twitter and you sit around and watch videos and you act like that's the basis of the majority when it's not. When in actuality, most people are going to work and coming home. That's the truth. But you're an algorithm-based idiot, and you can't look past that. You make your analysis based off what you see, not what you know. So when facts and numbers and statistics actually come about, then you're just, I don't know, but I don't know anything because people I know. You can't use people you know because people you know are not the majority of people. There are hundreds of millions of people in America. There are billions of people in the world. Do you know how small your small little number is going to be comparing to the majority, you dumbass? So again, another low IQ talking point. You're an idiot. Let's keep going. You're an angry man. Bet you can't say I'm a dumb one. I'd rather be angry than your name is James. Your name is James. PEWU. That stands for penis. Let's keep going.
Everything.
Wait, hold on one second. This is why university is important. No one cares about your friend. You have to use data or history.
I'm saying there are plenty of
no one
people
cares about your
that
friend, buddy.
feel
buddy,
Well, that's not
this
nice.
is why formal education is
I thought
critical.
You cared about people.
This is
Now you
why
don't care about
formal
people.
education is critical. Your anecdote, it may pull on the heartstrings of people with low IQ, but for people who are educated and
Exactly.
intelligent, it's irrelevant because it doesn't tell the story of the group.
Exactly.
It's
smart
a
are these
meaningless
educated people?
narrative. We don't have
A lot
time.
of these people with doctorate
And the reason
degrees
that you have
screw
to
up our
use
cities.
an
They don't seem
anecdote
that smart.
is because you don't know anything. You're ignorant.
I do
That's why you
know
have to use an
things.
anecdote.
I do know things. I have seen people. I know. Now, thing is, with these studies that you talk about, you don't think studies are manipulated all the time.
Oh
You
my
don't think a
God.
big company gives
Oh
$50 million
my
to some
God.
company to run a study that's going to benefit them. This happens
Funny because that logic never applies when it comes to black people. So when you're making something that make black people look bad, or every study is 100% factual. But when it's a study that goes against that, when it's for your own group of people, then all the studies, well, it could be manipulated in some type of way. I find that funny.
all the time.
You guys
should
it's-
know that
every
as
time
a
I talk to you
successful
guys,
businessman.
every time I talk to you guys are always provincial, low-level white guys. You're provincial. Do you know what that
You are
word means?
free to have that opinion.
Do you
It
know
is
what,
a
no,
free
it's
country.
data.
You
It's
can
data
feel
at this
how
point. Do you know
want.
what provincial means?
Provincial?
Provincial.
What is
do you
that?
know?
It's that's lower. It's lower. It's like lower class. It's like below. It's like it's a word for below.
You want to look it up real quick?
I'll look it up.
Yeah, it's a good word to know.
Provincial.
He is teaching this man a word. Literally.
Provincial. Of or concerning of or concerning the regions outside the capital city of a country, especially when regarded as unsophisticated or narrow-minded.
Yeah, it's like basically suggesting that you're from like the middle of nowhere and you only know what's around you. You've not
Right.
traveled anywhere. You're
I've traveled to
unrefined.
dozens of countries.
Dozens. Which
Yep.
ones? Which ones have you
I've been to Indonesia. I've been to
Indonesia, very
Vietnam.
nice.
I've been to Laos, Australia, Mexico, Morocco, Tanzania.
Okay, very good. What were you doing in
UK.
Tanzania?
Tanzania, Dar es Salaam, the capital. A
I said,
mentor
what
of
were you
mine
doing
in
there?
crypto. A mentor of mine in crypto. He lived there.
Were your parents well off?
My parents,
Yes.
middle class, upper middle class.
Upper middle class. I figured as much. So you're kind of like the son that they had who's like not really met the standards, but you're benefiting off of the fact that you're born into an upper middle class family. Do you realize that?
Here's the. Of course, I benefited from not being born in poverty.
Yeah, no, there's
of course,
nothing
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, do you realize that you're such an unimpressive person that you were born at the top, toward the top of the triangle, but you fell down due to your own lack of merit? Do you realize that?
What's with the insults? I mean, like this
No,
is-
it's not an
this
insult.
is
It's just an
kind of a-
observation. Like for example,
And
I'll
you're
give you
free
the
to make
parallel.
that
No, I'll give you the
observation. I mean,
I'll
you
give you the
can feel
parallel.
however
If you
you
say
wanna feel.
Marquette, and here's just the parallel. It's just the truth sounds bad, but it's actually not an insult. It's the truth just sounds bad because it is what it is. But
I
it's not an
haven't
insult.
accomplished a lot.
So
Overall,
here's the
if I'm
parallel.
honest,
If you say Marquette, like what class were your parents? I'll say, well, my parents were for sure lower class. And that sounds bad. It's maybe like an insult, but it's not an insult. It's just the facts. And then you say Marquette, well, you were born in the lowest class and now you're in the upper class. Well, that's not a compliment. That's just the facts.
Well,
But I did that as a
congratulations,
result of merit, and you've fallen down as a result of merit. And so the problem is that we have a situation wherein you're raging against what you want and your expectations for your life because you were in the upper middle class family, but your skill set is a lower class or lower middle class skill set.
end of the day, life will figure out where I go. Maybe
Do you
I'll
get
be a
my
winner,
point though?
Maybe I'll be a
Do
loser.
you get my point though?
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Okay. fair
Maybe
enough.
I'll be a winner. Maybe I'll be a loser. We'll find out. That's how time
You know,
goes.
you got hella time. I'm rooting for you personally. But anyways, do you know why the people of Venezuela, some of them were happy about their president being kidnapped? Do you know why?
Because he was a dictator who tortured people, who oppressed people.
He tortured
And they
and
were
oppressed
glad
people?
to see him go. They lost their wealth. They lost their family. Venezuela had the third highest GDP in the world in the 1980s. And then when
Is
socialism
GDP the
came,
most
it destroyed
important
that country.
measure?
Well,
GDP
per
is the most
capita, a
important?
lot of people.
Yeah,
I
per
think
capita.
you could ask the
Per
average
capita.
Venezuelan.
There you
They
go.
were
Be
they were
smarter.
doing off. They were doing way better off than.
Well,
before
why did their
socialism
economy
came.
start to suffer?
They started a lot of people, and this is what's starting to happen in America. The American dream is less achievable than it used to be because of billionaires selling out and mass
No, we're talking about
migration.
Venezuela. Focus.
Well,
We're talking about
I am,
Venezuela.
and this is the point. The system in Venezuela got worse. The people, things got more expensive. Times got tougher.
But why,
they didn't
though?
feel
Why?
the same prosperity.
Why?
Well, their oil industry started to fail. They weren't pumping enough oil. The Aramco belt has, I think, 230 billion barrels of oil there. I mean, they have the most natural resources out of any country on earth.
Curious.
And they're poor. And socialism destroyed that country. And I am glad
socialism
that
destroyed
Donald
the country.
Trump
Let me ask you a
saved
question.
the people of Venezuela.
Let me ask you a question, because you're a funny guy. I like that. Why did Venezuela become socialist if capitalism, and I'm pro-capitalist, mind you, just for the record, I'm pro-capitalist. I've been good at capitalism, unlike some folks. If Venezuela was doing well, why did socialism come into play in Venezuela?
Well, I'll tell you. And this is what we see in many countries. If we look at
just talk
Cuba,
about Venezuela. Just come on, just talk about Venezuela.
I have to give the whole context. So
no, it's because you're without knowledge. Can you stop tap dancing and just give me your answer?
I'm very without. I have a decent amount of knowledge here. When we look at Cuba, okay, well that's your opinion, right? And you're entitled to it. And people can make up their own minds.
Tell me about Venezuela. Why did they start with socialism? Because if everything was all well,
because when people see prosperity.
Again, I did not see this. I apologize. Shout out to Sean with the $50 donation, man. Much love to you, Sean, with the $50 donation on Cash App. Sean says, great interview, and I appreciate it, Sean. Much love.
And they don't see themselves prospering. That turns into an anger, that turns into a rage, and then somebody says, I'm going to give out free stuff. I'm going to make your life better. And people hear this, and they vote for it. But the problem is all the people with skills leave the country. The regulations clamp down on their industry.
So I haven't been cutting in this too much on the Venezuela thing, because although I did a video about it, even when I did the video, I stated like a lot of this information is new to me. I haven't studied on the Venezuela thing. I do know kind of like the foundation of it, but I haven't got too deep into it. So even when I made my video, I even said that. So I'm kind of letting them go back and forth. But I do know that Venezuela was trying to bring harm to America. They were, with those narco terrorists and all of that. And Trump basically said, no, that's over with. But let's be honest, that's never really truly the issue. It's because they have resources that America wants. Me personally, I mean, I wouldn't have said that they should have did it, but the fact that they did, I'm like, hey, cool. And we got their stuff now. Who cares? But I do think I would rather us not be sticking our nose into other people's world affairs. That has absolutely zero to do with us. I will say that. But that's just me speaking in general. But let's keep going.
Making growth, making prosperity impossible, because with socialism, you run out of other people's money. And that's what happened in Venezuela. People saw prosperity, but they didn't see themselves sharing in that prosperity. And leaders came on, Chavez in 1999.
Good point, Poppy Gold.
And I believe came on, said we're going to give out free refrigerators, free groceries, free TVs, promised all this stuff. And then he eventually ran out of other people's money and the country went in the shitter even farther.
Okay, now here's the facts, because you just made up stuff. Do you realize that the prosperity you were talking about that predated Chavez didn't actually exist? Did you know that?
It did. The GDP per capita was higher. Really?
Here's let me just expose
lower
you.
Classes
just real quick.
Suffering.
Let me expose you really quick. Just real quick. Let me expose you. Who was the leader before Hugo Chavez?
I don't know who was in charge before Chavez.
Okay. We're dealing with jokesters here. So you're telling me that you understand Venezuela.
Jokesters, you're advocating for a dictator.
No, 1 second, young man. 1 second, young man. 1 second. We're dealing with the jokester here, and keep your hands up so we know you're not Googling anything. We're dealing with a jokester who purports to understand Venezuela, their economy, their politics, and their history.
I peeped a little jab. He just tried to do it. Hands up, don't shoot. He's trying to be funny with that.
Yet you can't even name the leader before Hugo Chavez. You think you have?
Am I a Venezuelan history expert? That I ever?
You're the one who wanted to talk about Venezuela. And before we start talking about it, I asked you. I said, "Are you sure?"
That's exactly why I don't speak on things that I have little to no knowledge on. Even when I did the video about the Venezuelan stuff, I was like, "Look, y'all getting this information as I'm getting this information. I have not done my research." I always say that's why I like to stay in my box. I stay in my lane. And that's what an intelligent person does. See, a person who's not intelligent likes to jump into things that they have no research on, and they like to act as if they know what they're talking about. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I have no issue with saying I have absolutely zero information on this, and I don't know what I'm talking about. So fellas, ladies, we're going to react to this together on live because I don't even know. So, and you save yourself a lot of time and BS So stop acting like you know stuff. It's okay to not know. We're not robots. We don't know everything, and that's okay. I don't know everything. I only know what I know. Now, I'm always open to gain more intelligence and gain more knowledge on things and enlighten myself or get enlightened by other people, but it's ego. Thank you, Rook. It's ego. You should have just left it alone. You don't know what you're talking about.
Or you want to talk about that because I don't think you know much.
And I
That's
said
right.
sure.
And you're, again, exposing that you don't know.
You want to defend Maduro staying in power. That's your...
No,
that's
sir.
You never
You're a
said
liar.
that.
What I said earlier is that I want to defend sovereignty, the concept of sovereignty and self-government. Do you know what sovereignty is?
Yes.
What is sovereignty?
Sovereignty is the right to make your own decisions. You are sovereign. You are able to make your choices.
Aha. Now, can you explain to me why is it that if we respect sovereignty, it will drive greater levels of world peace and less war? Can you explain to us?
When there is a country that is not prospering its people, in America,
no, sir.
with its
I asked
great
you,
power,
can you explain why respecting sovereignty will reduce wars? That's what I asked you, young man.
sovereignty. Well, there hasn't been a war in Venezuela, by the way. But if you want me to address that particular point, is Venezuela?
Yeah, I'd be thankful if you'd actually. I'd be thankful if you'd listen to the question and actually answer the question. Yes,
because you're trying to.
I'd be thankful if you just listen to the question and answer the question.
I've done debate before. I know what you're doing. You're trying to.
You
get
are
my
an
answer
inferior
where it's only one
intellect
answer that
who's
supports
completely
your values.
devoid of knowledge, and you're trying your best to avoid making
you
the
are
obvious
free to have
point.
any opinion you like.
So I'm going to ask you again, young man. I'm going to ask you again.
Right?
Can you explain why countries respecting sovereignty will lead to greater world peace and fewer wars?
Sovereignty, when the country is taking care of its people, will lead to will lead to less wars. When we look at Venezuela, Maduro was not taking care of his people. He was a brutal dictator. He was removed.
Boy.
That's
you make
great.
up lies. You said he was torturing his own people. Would you explain what was?
He
tell me
literally
more about
had
that.
prisons and would torture dissidents. They had prisons in that
Like,
country.
can you like tell me what you're referring to? Like, I'll give you an example.
there
Let me
was-
tell you
there
what
were
I mean.
American
No, let me tell
citizens
you what
who
I
were
mean.
tortured by
Real quick, let me tell you what I mean. I'm going to give you a
Venezuelan,
great
operatives and
example.
police
I'm going to give you an example because I know you're struggling here. If you say Marquette, does America
fine
ever, hold on
right now.
one second, young man. If you say Marquette, does America ever torture people? I would say America, like the American citizens, well, generally no, but the American government, yeah, there's
Hey, chat, y'all are hilarious. I'm over here laughing I'm listening to the video, but I'm laughing at y'all comments. Y'all are hilarious, man. Y'all are hilarious, man.
a long history of it. And you say, Marco, well, give me an example so we don't think you're making up things and you're lying about your knowledge.
Of course they do.
Don't interrupt, young man. And then I would say, well, Guantanamo Bay is the best example. Abu Ghraib, there's so many records, and mostly it's American journalists and even whistleblowers who have pointed this out. So there's just no doubt that the United States government has tortured people. Guantanamo Bay is a shining example of that. Now, I'm going to ask you, give me an example of the Venezuelan government torturing people in a systematic and consistent way like Guantanamo Bay, for example.
Do you really not understand how the world works?
Young man,
Every
please stop
single
running,
nation,
stop running,
every
stop running.
single
Just give me an
nation.
example. Just give me an
Running
example.
a country's a dirty business.
Just give me an example. Stop running.
I'm
You said
giving you an
Venezuela
example.
tortures. Give me an example.
There was American citizens who were in prison in Venezuela that were released under the Trump administrations who made accusations of torture by their Venezuelan captors. That's a fact. Now, if you want to go...
What is this torture program called? Like what was the event called? Like, what are you talking? Like I gave you Guantanamo. It's a specific, well-documented situation. Like, can you
torturing people?
Because you said they tortured their own people. Hold on one second, young man. You said Venezuela tortured their own people.
Are you saying they don't?
So tell me, young man, you have the burden of proof. Stop playing games. You said Venezuela tortured. Hold on one second. I want everyone to notice how slimy this guy is. First, he says that he's a dictator and he's torturing his own people. And then I said, okay, great. Well, who did he torture? What was the program called? Hold on one second. Please stop it.
No.
He said, well, who was he torturing? You know, what were their, there are Americans being tortured. I said, you said he tortured his own people, dude. So tell me, what was the name of the program?
People who were tortured. they were credible accusations of people who were tortured.
Dude, tell me, who was tortured?
What you're trying to do,
you have no examples.
You're trying to defend this place where you would never live.
Young man, you're literally, hold on one second.
Screaming at me.
You're making up lies. You have to stop doing that. You got to stop lying.
You're trying to
hold on one second, young man. Just stop talking. Just stop it. I gave you an example. I said, if you ask me, does the American government torture? I said, Guantanamo Bay is a well-documented instance of torture. I said, you stated that the Venezuelan government has tortured the Venezuelan people. You named dissidents.
Some,
and I
not
said,
everyone.
Don't interrupt. And then I said, give me an example, name the program or name the dissidents that were tortured. I'm going to give you time right now to name the program of torture or the specific dissidents in Venezuela who were tortured. I yield the floor.
Can you hear me now?
Come on, dude.
There was a lag. The point is, I understand what you're saying. You're trying to say, point out the specific program where they tortured
or just
people.
name the dissidents who were tortured.
You want to say there were.
You said there were dissidents. Just name the dissidents.
American citizens.
You said Venezuelan
allegations
dissidents
of torture to the United States.
Young man, please be honest. You said Venezuelan dissidents.
You're advocating for Maduro, and
young man, you're not an honest person. You said Venezuelan dissidents. Did you say Venezuelan dissidents? Yes, you did. Now name the Venezuelan dissidents. Name one, just one. Just name one Venezuelan dissident.
In Venezuela. God, that's how the world works. Dude. Okay, outside of America, like I know you hate America so much, but let's be honest.
Listen, I'm going to mute you real quick just so everyone can hear my question. I'm going to mute you because you keep talking over me. So I'm letting everyone know I'm intentionally muting you. This young man said that Venezuela tortures their dissidents, which would be Venezuelan citizens. I said, okay, you're lying. Name just one Venezuelan dissident that Venezuela has tortured, just to prove your case. Just one, or name a program of torture. I'm going to open up the floor for him to not say anything else other than the name of one Venezuelan dissident or one program of torture. Nothing else. I yield the floor.
You're a very smart person. You know how to.
Oh my goodness. This is literally like talking like to a toddler. Like it's like talking to a toddler. I've never this is probably I've seen maybe 10 of his debates, maybe 8 to 10 of Marquett's debates, like full through. This might be the one that is the most shocking as far as like the lack of logic and the lack of IQ that this dude has right here. It's insane to me how low level minded he is, and he's had a lot of idiots on this. So I've seen a lot of his debates. This nigga is an idiot. Like he's actually like not smart. Like he had to have like he used to do tests, and they used to take him out of class to like do his tests with a counselor. It's how stupid he was. Sorry for the people who had to go through that, but I'm just it is what it is. Some kids they would take a test in class, but like their test had to be taken with the counselor because it had to be read out to them because they were actually not smart because they had like a mental thing going on. Like that was him. He had an IEP. He probably used to take medication before school. Like something is going on because oh my, I ain't never seen nothing this low before. And now he trolling. You're kind of a smart guy. I bet you're like, huh? Like what?
To kind of guide the conversation in your direction, and you have to follow my.
Name one Venezuelan dissident that was tortured.
This. Would you like to live in Venezuela?
Name one Venezuelan dissident that was tortured.
Would you like to live in Venezuela? Do you
That's
think
a red
Maduro
herring. You're trying to distract.
Leader?
Name one Venezuelan dissident that was tortured. Would you admit that you were making up things? Would you admit that you were making up things?
Free flight to Venezuela.
Would you admit that you were just repeating things that you heard other people say?
Would you like to live in Venezuela?
Would you admit that you were just repeating things that you heard other people say?
Do you think Maduro is a good leader?
Would you admit that you were just repeating what you heard other people say? It's okay. We do it all the time.
Would you admit you're trying to defend a
Would you admit that you were just repeating things that other people have said?
Would you admit you don't want prosperity for the people of Venezuela? Would you admit that? You
are a great example of the dishonesty of the white nationalists and the white supremacists.
You're very dishonest too.
You just made up a lie. When you got called out on the lie, you won't admit to lying. You just want to talk about something else. You just want to talk about something else.
Would you like to live in Venezuela?
You get called out on the lie. Now you want to change the conversation.
Do you want to live in Venezuela?
You got called out on the lie. Now you want to go on and talk about something else.
And this is why,
folks who are watching, use the information
sense
below to send in your comments, questions, tides.
It's like you get into it with your chick, fellas. You come home. So I thought you said, you was gonna stop dressing like that. So what about that last time when you went to the club without talking to me? We've already got through that. We've had that issue. That was 3 months ago. But you said you weren't gonna dress that way. You're still dressing that way. Why do you think that is okay? Well, you didn't take me to get dinner that one day and you got me flowers and I don't like roses. I don't like these type of flowers. I like sunflowers. What does that have to do? Like, this is like talking to a delusional woman. This is like talking to a woman, like talking to a wall, like talking to a toddler. It's insane to me.
Intuition. We're going to start winding down because he refuses to justify anything he's saying. He's just.
All women are not like that. I'm not speaking on all women. You modern women are like that. I'm speaking on you modern women, just y'all.
Making up things using common talking
liberal
points.
White male right here.
He's just repeating.
If
what
I'm
he
an
heard
idiot,
other
go
people
live
say.
in Venezuela. They go live under Maduro.
Would you be kind enough just to justify what you're saying?
Such a
Name
great
one
point.
Venezuelan dissident. You said that they were being tortured. Just name one as an example.
There were American citizens who were released under the Trump administration who made claims of torture.
You
There
said
are Venezuelans
Venezuelan
in Venezuela
dissidents.
who
You
have
said
made
Venezuelan
claims of torture.
dissidents, young man.
And you're expecting
You
me
said
to know
Venezuelan
every single
dissidents.
person's name.
No,
And
not
this
every
is the
single
thing.
person. Just one.
This is why
Just
you
one.
educated
Just
people
one.
really
Just
have
one.
destroyed the country and why people don't trust you.
And you see, this is what I'm talking about. It's
What?
these low IQ liars. It's extraordinary.
You've been lying yourself here,
It's
too.
extraordinary. He said Venezuelan dissidents. Now he won't defend it.
Go
Just
live
admit
there.
you
It's a great
lied.
place.
Just
Go
admit you
live there.
lied.
Go live there.
Young man, did you say Venezuelan dissidents? We all heard you. So now just tell us the name of one.
Unc, look here, Unc, okay?
Just name one.
The thing is, it's not my job to name every single slave.
No one asked you to do any of that.
That's it,
You
huh?
got to stop lying, young man. You got to just say you don't know when you don't know. You got to say you don't know when you don't know. That's all.
You gotta stop being deceptive.
It's okay. You don't know. Just say you don't know, man. Stop making up stuff. Stop making up stuff, man. You don't do any research. You just repeat what you heard other people say. And that's really sad. You just repeat what you heard other people say.
Can I speak?
Do you realize every time you've said something, I said, hey, what scholar, what book, what research study, name one person, give a piece of evidence. You learned everything you know from TikTok.
Do I
got
need
a
to, do I
TikTok
need to name
education.
someone who shot someone in
Everything
Chicago?
you
to
know
that
is
there are
from
shootings in
TikTok.
Chicago? Do I need to
Everything
name
you know is
someone?
from TikTok.
Do I
You've
need to
never
name
even
someone?
read a book.
Are shootings
You've
happening
never read
in
a
Atlanta?
book.
Are shootings happening in Baltimore?
You
Do I have to be
literally
able to
never
name
read a
somebody
whole book.
to know that?
I don't even
I've read
believe you
whole
have a
book.
bachelor's.
I've read a whole book.
I don't think you've read a book. What book are you currently reading?
You can feel however you
What book
want
are
to.
you currently reading?
What
book are you currently reading? What book are you currently reading?
48 Laws
What
of
book are you
Power
currently
by
reading?
Robert Greene. 48 Laws
Exactly,
of Power by
exactly.
Robert Greene.
That's so basic. I read 48 Laws of Power 3 years ago, 4 years ago. That was so basic. Like, come on now. Everybody read it. You can get, oh my goodness. That's a basic book. I'm not going to say it's a basic book, but it's a very standard, like, a man's first, like, opening up to, like, true knowledge of understanding things and, like, yourself and understanding the world and how to, deal with people. And, you know what I'm saying? It's like if somebody like lives I live a luxury lifestyle. Name one expensive restaurant. Well, I went to Ruth Chris. Well, come on. You don't know nothing about Smith & Walensky, Steak 48, Mastro's. We can talk about Tortoise, downtown Chicago. Like, come on. It's like a starter. Yeah, it's not a bad book. You can get a lot from a book, but it's like, it's very basic level type of stuff. He said that like it was something crazy.
Pop culture books. You're reading a pop culture book. This is extraordinary.
Yeah, not even Rip Chris. Like nigga said, Papados. Papados good, by the way. I like Papados. Especially they Rockefeller oysters. It's pretty good. They roasted oysters, just Rockefeller oysters. It's pretty good. But or oysters Rockefeller is the way that you said. But it's like nigga Papados. Go ahead, go to Tortoise. Go to Smith & Wesson. Go to Mastro's. Go to Morton's is actually not good. I don't like Morton's. Morton's is actually terrible. But yeah, like come on. It's just like you basic level. You think you have Papados. Come on now. You get just a little shrimp and grits and going somewhere. Let's keep going.
Pop culture books. You're reading a pop culture book. This is extraordinary. It's a pop culture book, but you're the leader.
What are you angry at me for?
This guy's reading a pop culture book, but he's supposed to lead something extraordinary.
Do I have to? Can you just answer this one question? You don't have to answer it. Do I have to be able to name one person who committed a shooting in Baltimore to say that there's shootings going on in Baltimore?
That's cute, man. Anyways, give me one moment to acknowledge the folks in the audience who may have questions. Just give me one moment.
Couldn't answer the question.
It's just silly. You sound stupid. That's why. Shout out to Albatar. He came in via Stripe, and he's supporting the work in a real way. We appreciate you. May I also acknowledge Caleb supporting the work using the Stripe link in the description of the video. May I also acknowledge Gary came in supporting via the Stripe link. Thank you to those who support these meaningful exposés. Shout out to Andre, who writes, another lamb for slaughter. Peace of the Saints Commander came in via Venmo. Appreciate you. May I also acknowledge Constantine supporting the work via Venmo. Shout out via PayPal. Wayne came through supporting. He writes, Peace of the Saints tuition. This guy is a fool. I also acknowledge Shakir writes, I'm tired of this socialism narrative destroyed Venezuela. Venezuela was a petro state since 1920, and bad management of oil gains destroyed the nation. Yes, indeed. Extraordinary. And by the way, folks, feel free to send in your comments, questions, ties, tuition below. Anyways, so you said the biggest problem of the white man in America is what exactly?
Well, I said white liberals. They're the biggest problem of all.
So what's the plan?
The evil, deceitful white liberals.
Oh, so there's some good white liberals.
They're disillusioned. They're not bad, but they're disillusioned.
Gotcha. And do you believe in capitalism?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay. So capitalism has hierarchy. We can agree on that, right?
Of course. Yes.
Okay. So why do you have a problem with there being different levels of hierarchy within the white collective in terms of how they're performing in the capitalist system?
I never said I did. There's not everyone's going to be at the top. It's either we have hierarchy or everyone's going to be at the bottom.
Okay. So what's wrong with the current system? And I don't like the current system, but I'm saying in your perspective, what's the issue in the current system?
The biggest issue with the current system is white elite billionaires who have lobbied politicians to lower their.
Hey, somebody said, is that a KKK robe in the back? It's funny because I ain't even peep it, bro. I thought that was like I don't even know what that was. I ain't even peeped that until just now. Like low-key look like a KKK robe though, like low-key. Like low-key it look like a KKK robe. I ain't even peeped that till now. You funny as hell for that.
Is white elite billionaires who have lobbied politicians to lower their corporate tax rate and to ship jobs overseas and advocate for low tariffs that displace.
Can we take it piece by piece real quick?
In America.
Do you mind if we take it piece by piece?
Sure.
Because that's quite a bit. Okay. So you said billionaires who have lobbied for lower taxes. I just want to confirm you are a capitalist, right?
I am a capitalist, and I understand there's different classes, but I want the working class people of our country to be able to live a high quality of life.
A high quality of life. Okay.
Yes.
So earlier you were saying, well, why don't you go live in Venezuela? Well, I think you are probably suggesting that America is a good place, right? Good place to be.
I'm here.
There you go. So what makes you think that the whites who are in America are not already living a high quality of life unless maybe they'd go live in Venezuela if they weren't?
Well, I mean, I can speak to people's experiences that I know. Again, I know you don't like the experiences thing, but
yeah,
there's a lot of.
You don't know what the data is?
Well, this is the thing. Data is fudged all the time, but all I know is
and your story.
But not when it comes to black people. When it comes to black people, data is always 100% factual and truthful. But when it comes to whites, well, we don't really know if that's accurate. Go watch the video of me destroying Nick Fuentes' talking points. Go to YouTube, type in AntCEO Nick Fuentes, Piers Morgan. When Nick Fuentes went on the Piers Morgan show, Nick Fuentes is another low IQ individual. Destroyed all of his talking points in real time. Go watch that video and you'll see what I mean. They're so not intelligent. It makes no sense. They're so easily to be debunked. That's why they don't like to debate. And when they do debate, this is what happens. It's crazy.
Stories are 100% true.
I think you'd find there's a lot of people that share the same position.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of young white men who get a college degree, who apply for 200 jobs and are not able to get one because, one, it's been replaced by an H-1B visa Indian or Chinese person who's getting that tech job.
Okay.
Or a lower wage job like in fast food or in tree trimming or in agriculture has been taken by a migrant who works for $5 to $10 an hour, where if those wages were $20 an hour, working class white people would have an opportunity to succeed in this country.
Do you realize that you're actually not a capitalist? You're really a socialist. Are you aware of that?
I would say a social capitalist, if that's the perfect term.
That's like saying I'm a straight gay person. That's like saying I'm a fat, skinny person. That's like saying I'm a Republican Democrat. That's like saying I'm a white black person. Like, what are you talking about? I'm a socialist. What did he say? I'm a social capitalist. That's like saying somebody said a Crip blood. I'm BD and GD, nigga. What you talking about, nigga? Man, nigga. What you, man, nigga? I'm from San Francisco, nigga. I ain't from LA, nigga. Nigga, what you talking about, nigga? Yeah, nigga. I got a nigga. What you talking about? Nigga, I got a dick and pussy, nigga. What you talking about, nigga? Like, what? How you Crippin' and blood? Nigga hitting the crip walk wearing all red, going like this. All red, nigga hitting like, nigga, what? What is you talking about, dude? Niggas you crazy?
Or in agriculture has been taken by a migrant who works for $5 to $10 an hour, where if those wages were $20 an hour, working class white people would have an opportunity to succeed in this country.
Do you realize that you're actually not a capitalist? You're really a socialist. Are you aware of that?
I would say a social capitalist, if that's the perfect term.
Nigga, GD and GDK.
And I hate to come at you like that, but nigga, what? You said you're a social capitalist?
I thought no slurs. Slurs. Come on, man.
Bro, you're a social capitalist? What is that? What
I
is
want
that,
to see the people of the country do well because I've learned from history. You look at Cuba, you look at Iran.
Oh, God.
When there's the elites sharing the prosperity and other people feel like they don't have any of it, that's when you have revolution and when you get communism and it gets 1,000 times worse. The Shah of Iran had a bunch of prosperity in the late 70s. Then the Ayatollah came in, there was a coup, everybody's life got worse. Same thing with Cuba. Batista had Cuba, the elites had the prosperities, the American mafia, Meyer Lansky, a lot of the Jewish mafia, I shouldn't say the word. They had a lot of control over Havana. The casinos were making money. The elites lived well. The poor people had nothing. Castro came in, got worse.
Can I point out one interesting thing about both of those instances that you're talking about? And it again only highlights the fact that you're without knowledge. So I talked to you earlier about sovereignty and how important sovereignty is, which is the idea of European countries mostly, or white countries, if you like, not meddling in the affairs of other countries. You just use the example.
My dog is an idiot, bro.
Of Cuba.
He could just jump and bust his ass trying to jump down.
And you use the example of Iran. In Cuba, who was the dictator at that time that you're referencing?
Fulgencio Batista, I believe that's the pronunciation.
That's wrong. It's Fulgencio Batista, but that's fine.
Okay. Same thing.
You did much better. And in Iran, who was the leader?
Shah Reza, the pronunciation of the...
Shah Reza Pahlavi. Okay, very good.
Yes.
Yep, pretty good. In both of those cases, do you realize that both of those were American puppets?
They were aligned with the United States.
Yes, they were American puppets. And both of those cases...
not put their interests first?
In both of those cases, American capital, multinational corporations were operating in both of those markets and controlling politics there. That's why I talk about sovereignty. And in both of those cases, you saw revolution. The revolution was not due to poverty because the Shah of Iran was modernizing Iran. And Cuba was doing pretty darn well. So actually wasn't poverty and nor was it inequality.
It was multiple factors.
It was also in main part, especially if you look at the Iranian case, it was a cultural mismatch because the American imperialists tried to map Western culture and values onto a Shia Islamic country. And that didn't work. And their revolution was led by whom in Iran?
Who was led by who?
Yeah, the revolution in Iran against the Shah was led by whom?
Well, initially they had different factions, but they aligned under Khomeini.
Ayatollah Khomeini, right, which was like an 80-year-old cleric, right?
Well, there was a guy before him who was the Ayatollah. Then he died, I believe, in '91, and then Khomeini took power. Okay. I could be mistaken with that, but that's what I'm.
It's okay. It's okay. It looks like the broader story we're aligned with. So that revolution wasn't due to poverty. It wasn't due to inequality. It was due to the United States putting a puppet in place, and everyone knew it was a puppet, and it was a cultural mismatch. That's why the leader who waged that revolution, which was largely a cultural revolution, that was the driving force, religion and culture, he was a cleric, a very religious cleric. Mm-hmm. So when you respect sovereignty, you're less likely to have international war. And when you're respecting sovereignty, you won't have puppets. So you're less likely to have those kind of authentic revolutions. And I want you to understand the difference between an inauthentic revolution and an authentic one. Authentic revolutions happen from within, the real citizens of that country. The Shah was overthrown in a popular revolution. The Fulgencio Batista in Cuba was overthrown by what two epic figures in history?
That was Fidel and Raul Castro, Che Guevara.
Sure.
A couple other people.
Now, we know that Che was from what country?
But who?
We know that Che was from what country?
The American Mafia. That was the United States.
No. Che Guevara. Che Guevara de la Serna was from what country?
I know it's Central America. It's one of I don't know.
He's from Argentina. Okay.
Really? I thought he was from Central America.
Che was from Argentina, but Raul and Fidel were from Cuba. So it was an authentic revolution that occurred from Cubans. And then you had this random dude who was studying to be a physician named Che, who said, yeah, that makes sense. Let me sign on to that. And it was essentially against the imperialist, the outsiders dominating there.
Partially.
No. And the fact of the matter is, there's so many details that are missing in your knowledge. I find it strange that you would even try to contradict me.
I mean, I went through the broad stroke. There's multiple factors.
Well, you can only go through on a broad stroke because you got your knowledge from a documentary on YouTube.
I can go deeper.
You've never read La Guerra de las Guerrillas? You've never read anything.
No. But I can go deeper if you'd like.
But you can't go deeper. That's my point.
I can. I absolutely can.
Yeah. Anyways, my point in summary, though, is sovereignty is important. When you don't respect sovereignty, eventually it's going to lead to an authentic popular revolution.
May I just say one point to that? I get the floor. You're good. I think you're a smart individual, and I think you understand there is nothing on this earth that happens that is purely organic. There is always outside forces acting like a group on every country. That is how world history has been guided. There's nothing that is an independent, people-led revolution. Every single thing that happens is allowed, and external forces make that thing happen, where they boil the pot, where that is the only action those people can take. So when we look at America, I believe America should look at things in their best interest. They should try to make sure countries are aligned with them. They should get the best deals they can, but also is a smart way and is a humane way to make the people not rebel against you. Give them housing, food, shelter, opportunities. Give them opportunities.
Give them?
Well, the jobs so they can get them. If people aren't impoverished, if people they might not like America, but if America aligned forces are providing a higher quality of life, they aren't going to go in the streets with pitchforks and machine guns and take over your country.
Let's talk a bit about capitalism, because I'm actually a real capitalist, a real one. You are a socialist. And
how would you define real capitalism?
Real quick. That's funny. Very funny. So you're a socialist, and that's okay. A lot of young people are very socialist.
I'm a social capitalist.
There's no such thing. You just made that term.
Well, I made it up. It's my movement.
You made that. But here's the thing. Movement. You think you're coming up with new ideas, but it's just that because you've not read political theory or economic theory, you don't know the correct term for what you're describing. You're not describing capitalism. You're describing a large social welfare state, which is essentially socialism. That's what you're describing. You just don't know it because you're not very well schooled, and that's why education is important.
I would prefer a Norwegian model, where there's capitalism, but there's a social safety net. But
I want you deported, and I want you deported for that, because you're not a real American. There's no way a real American patriot would ever try to model what we do after the filthy Europeans. The Europeans are our inferior. We rebuilt them after the Marshall Plan. We do not follow Europeans. They have an inferior system, and you need to be deported because you're one of the lazy Americans that are dragging us down. The reason you want a social welfare system is because you can't hack it. You cannot hack it in a real capitalist system. The reason you hate capitalism is because it's a system of real competition. And you yourself said you can't compete with Indians because you don't know how to apparently get in school, read the books, learn and perform and have good skills and get gainful employment. That's the issue. We don't import. Let me tell you something. I used to work for, real quick. No one needs to listen to you. I used to work for the mayor of Baltimore. And in the Baltimore area, wait, who am I?
Yeah, who are you? You're a human being.
Am I on your platform or are you on my platform? Am I on your platform or are you on my platform?
I'm on yours.
Do I follow you or do you follow me on Instagram?
A whole lot of people are going to start following me real soon. But
I hear you. So this is how unrealistic this kid is. I'm not ashamed
to say you're above me.
Who are you? Come on, let's be realistic, man. But anyways, the point is this. And this is my problem with my white nationalist brothers and my white supremacist brothers. No, really, because I believe in the American white man. And I live in the deep South, mind you. I don't know. Are you do you mind saying what state you're in?
Florida.
Those are not the real good whites.
That's not. It's New Yorkers. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, low quality whites there. You know, I'm with the real whites. You heard me? Like I'm in southern Georgia. These are the real whites here. And what I like about the real whites, though they may be missing teeth, they have great skills. You see, they show up and they can actually do things. They have great skills. They're tradesmen. And many of them are actually intelligent as well. It's just that they chose to go into trades. They're the heroes of our country. They're the heroes. Now, here's the challenge, though. You have the dumb whites, which are in Florida. Example 8.
You can just say me. Yeah, you can say me if you want.
We got the dumb whites, which are basically most everywhere else. And the problem, instead of saying, hey, Marquette, instead of getting scared of competition from India, what if we didn't believe in make America great again? What if we believed in make Americans great again? And we didn't have to make it racist. We said all of Americans. Now, this is mostly going to benefit whites because they're 60% of the country. And we hyper focus on excellence in education, in mathematics, in all of the basics that are necessary to get the high paying jobs. When I worked in government in the MVA area, in the DMV area, we had 5 jobs for every one person seeking a job. The problem was that the people did not have the skill set to engage in jobs of the future or in today's economy. So that's actually a gap on the part of the worker. They have not kept pace by educating themselves.
Well, the system didn't put the resources in as well.
Not the system. This guy's like a liberal white woman. It's the system. You're like a black.
Literally said it. I've been saying it this entire video. He is a liberal. He's a liberal woman. That's all he is. He act like a liberal woman.
You're like a black person, like saying everything is racist. Is the white man getting you down too? God damn, bros, are the white man getting him down? That's crazy.
The white
the
liberal
system, my boy.
To an extent, yeah, they've kind of destroyed.
Wait, hold on, my boy. You said the system. Did you just say the system?
Systems exist.
Man, you lost your white card right there. You lost your white card.
So you're allowed to use the system whenever it's not beneficial towards other whites, because it doesn't benefit you. But when black people say, hey, there's a system that has systematically and historically done things to us to keep us undermined, then that's you. Hey, just come on, you guys are just being lazy. I find that funny. It's okay for them to, it's like they're allowed to use their arguments when it's beneficial to them. But when we want to use those same arguments, when we actually have proof and we actually have evidence to show what we're talking about, then we're just being lazy and we just don't want to do anything. Now, I do think that too many black people use their race too much as to why they can't become anything. And I say that all the time. I think there is a victim mentality that too many black people have. But to say that, but two things says this at one time. To say that there has been nothing since so-called freedom that black people have had in America that has not, kept us down or kept us not having the same opportunities as others would just be disingenuous. So I think two things can exist at one time. But this is funny because they always
talk about black people using these same arguments, but when they use it, it's okay. Yo, before I post this, the Leon Thomas of YouTube. I don't know who Leon Thomas is and don't really care.
Say the system.
Systems exist.
Man, you lost your white card right there. You lost your white card. And this
I
is
lost
my
my
point.
white card. Is it gone now?
This whole thing with the system
Are
and
you
the
the
man,
leader of the white supremacy movement?
I am the leader of the white
Taking away my
supremacists.
card?
Yes, I'm taking away your card. Low-key, you never had one because I'm the one that gives them out, but I'm taking it away. Whatever fake one you had.
So it's revoked.
No, but here's the thing. Seriously, if you would have went back in time, the claim of the whites is that the blacks are always complaining about racism, complaining about discrimination, complaining about the system, complaining about the man.
And
we
at
know
the
that
time,
the whites
there was
have
genuine
fallen.
complaints.
I hear you. We know the whites have fallen really badly because now you guys are single moms. You're complaining about the system. You're complaining about the man. You're complaining about all this stuff.
I identify as a man, by the way, so I can't
said
be a
the
single
man,
mom.
you know. But the question is like, when are you guys gonna pull yourself up by the bootstraps, like me? When are you guys gonna do that?
I have never been against it. I have never been against pulling people up by the bootstraps. But what I have said from a systemic perspective, the people, if they live better lives and there's more opportunities for them to live better lives, overall, the country will be less violent. It'll be more prosperous and it'll be a better place for successful people like you to live in. Because I'm pretty sure as a successful black man like yourself, you don't live in a majority black neighborhood.
Please don't
you
call
don't
me
live
black,
in
sir.
Baltimore.
Please
You don't
don't
live
call
in
me
O
black.
Block.
Actually, I used to live in Baltimore when I was in graduate school. But can we do two
But now
things if
you
you don't
don't.
mind? No, of course not. Can we do two things real quick? Let's do.
Funny, they use this argument a lot, and let me break this down too. They love to say, well, when black people become successful, they don't want to live around other black people. That's not true. People don't want to live around other people who are low class. It has nothing to do with their race. People don't want to live around people who are low class. So you know why I wouldn't want to live in the mountains of West Virginia, in bumblefuck West Virginia, around a bunch of poor, low-class, missing tooth, spitting tobacco in a tin can from 20 feet away? I don't want to live around them, not because they're white. It's because they operate in low-class behavior. I'm not a low-class person. I like to fly first class. I like fine dining. I like to travel. I like to eat good food. I like to fly women in and out of my city, and I like to be around, and I want to make sure that she's safe, right? I like to live in areas where people have marble floors and they have nice homes and kids are running around and they're safe and they play basketball up and down the street and people can be out at 4 a.m. and it's, you don't have to, you can walk down the street and you don't have to look over your shoulder, right? People are barbecuing, neighbors are having holiday things and people are going over each other's houses, and that's what I want to live around. I don't care if you're black, white, green, purple, it doesn't matter. I don't want to live around people who are low class. It has nothing to do with them being black. Have you seen the high class people who live in North Carolina? North Carolina black people are some of the most highest quality, high class black people on earth. Not even on earth. Not some of them, they are. You got some of the most classiest black people to live in North Carolina. And they live around each other. Some neighborhoods in Georgia. You got some neighborhoods in LA. Or California, I'm sorry, in California. That's not because they're black or white. It's because they have a higher quality of behavior that they operate in. So it doesn't matter about the race. So stop that. You white extremists, please stop with that argument. Well, you blacks don't want to live around each other. Yes, we do. We don't want to live around people who are low class and uneducated. So I'm not going to go live in the mountains of West Virginia. I'm not going to go live in the poor slums of a white area in Mississippi somewhere. Like, I don't want to live there because your people are low class. Let's keep going.
You don't mind? No, of course not. Can we do two things real quick? Let's do two things. I want to, one, acknowledge some of the folks who might have comments, questions. And then number two, I'm going to shut down the two YouTube streams. We're going to be on Twitch. And in the meantime, if you want to share your name, because I haven't been actually using your name, just share your name and your IG information. Make sure that you can achieve some of your blue chip goals.
Exactly. Ask him why he's not living in the trailer park with that logic, right? And his logic is going to be the same as mine. I don't want to live around people who are low class, who have a low quality of living. It's that simple.
As we go through. So feel free to do that now.
Yeah, my IG is at Cloysius, KLOYSIUS_. You can follow me on Twitter at the same handle. I am open for debate. I'm not someone who shies away from conversation, and I say some controversial things, but I think truth speaking is very important, and I'm very thankful to Marquette because we have had a conversation for over an hour and a half, and at times slightly.
Yeah, fuck what you talking about. Shout out to Uno with the $5 donation. Yep, I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, outside of the RTP Tech Hub. A lot of black people pulling six figures here. I know black people there. Who are pulling six figures. Actually, like North Carolina has some of the highest quality black people in the world. Probably the highest quality black people who make a good amount of money, make a lot of money, who are rich, who are wealthy, who are educated, who are living in like the nuclear family, like the man and the woman and his children are all living in the house and they're married. They live in North Carolina. Now, obviously, you have that all over the country, but what I'm saying, North Carolina has a very high number of that. So shout out to my people in North Carolina, man. Y'all doing y'all thing out there. And I actually might move out there. Let me get like that first. Hold on. Bow. All right. Let's keep going.
A bit hostile, but I think overall it was productive.
Yeah, I think you respect the game that we're in, folks. This is the Twitch handle right here, twitch.tv/Marquett Davon. We're going to continue there. The YouTube streams are about to be cut right now, so I advise you to start transitioning over to twitch.tv, and because he does actually have some interesting and meaningful points we do need to discuss. I think there are actually points of intersection, so we will engage that. But first, let me acknowledge some of the folks supporting the work. Shout out to Tam, came in supporting the work using the Stripe link in the description. Also, may also acknowledge Cameron. Cameron is very consistent, came in supporting via Stripe. We appreciate you. And shout out to the folks who actually do support the work. May I also acknowledge Jay, came in via Venmo. He writes, showing support, peace of saints. Jay's very consistent. I also acknowledge Das. He writes, got to ask this to a super player because I'm trying to work my way up the international level. Based on what you know, how many consistent broads should I aim to have in my stable? You know, it really depends on what you can manage. To be honest with you, like you got to reach a level that's comfortable for you. What should I call you?
Me?
Yes.
You can call me James. Cloysius is Instagram.
Okay,
yeah.
James. Okay. Cloysius is his Instagram. We'll make sure you guys can get access to that because it might be a little hard to spell. You mind if I call you James?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. James, how many chicks you got right now? How many?
He don't know nothing about women. You could tell he don't. Like I said, he was the guy with the see-through book bag. Like he used to walk around drinking milk. Like he used to be like in his second period drinking like he would take the milk out of the can, out of the canister, not the canister. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He would take the milk out of the carton. He would pour it in a water bottle. Like he used to walk around drinking milk. Like you'll walk in the bathroom, this nigga's drinking milk out of a water bottle. Like he was one of those guys. See-through book bag, labeled everything. He was one of those corny guys. But let's see what he has to say. He don't know. I can tell he don't know a thing about women. But let's see what he got to say.
Bell, you mind if I call you James?
This will be entertaining for sure.
James?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. James, how many chicks you got right now? How many you dealing with?
Right at this moment?
Yes, sir.
0.
What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? And this is how a lot of these white extremist guys are. Nick Fuentes claims he's a virgin. He's never been with a woman before and he's waiting to a marriage. He's almost 30. That's not the case. You're just gay and you're not attractive and you don't know how to deal with women, nor you like women because you like boys. You want to be plunged inside of your anus. That's the truth. And most of these white extremist guys are like this. They're these guys that are the low-level whites. Like I said, they're not the Kyles. They're not the Zachs. They're not the Chads. They're not the cool white guys who actually got girls and who actually have skills and things to offer and who are charming and who are the leaders who should be the people that should be leading the white community. You have a 5'6" gay white Mexican that is leading the white community in Nick Fuentes. You have guys like this, short, bad hairline, 25 years old, absolutely zero facial. He looks 60 when he should look his age, which is 25. These guys never got girls ever in their life. So their issue is actually within themselves is because they're insecure. I'm not surprised that he said 0. I'm not surprised at all. Because I already knew from the jump. You can look at him. Look at him.
Right at this moment?
Yes, sir.
0.
Okay, fair enough. I get like that. Anyway, shout out to Gabriel. He writes, I hope you're doing well, Saint.
Hey, Marquett be too condescending though, bro. Like, y'all hear the nigga though? Listen to what Marquett said.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. James, how many chicks you got right now? How many you dealing with?
Right at this moment?
Yes, sir.
0.
Okay, fair enough. I get like that. Anyway, shout out to Gabriel. He writes, I hope you're doing well, Saint. I really enjoy listening to you dissecting flawed logic and revealing weakness and reasoning. Continue cooking, Saint. Peace of Saints. Oh, absolutely. It's my pleasure. And you know, James, one of the things I like about you is that you are an ambitious young man. And I think that you'll make progress. I think you're mostly reasonable. I just hate to see young guys like you fall to hatred. Because you can be so much. And frankly, you're going to be happier without the hatred. Anyways, Daz writes, Peace of Saints, big homie. What is a new lesson that you have learned related to finances recently? You know what? I don't know if there's much new under the sun, to be honest with you. I think the key is to, I'll give you an old lesson that I learned when I was a child, which is save money. Save money. You should always have a savings rate. And that has done me really well. This Trump economy has been very hard for real businessmen. If you're a proper international businessman, you've suffered greatly. However, if you're, say, like a tradesman, you're doing really well. There's a white gentleman who came and did some work for me yesterday. And I said, hey, I need you to come back and do X, Y, and Z. He was like, I can't come for 2 months. I was like, well, why is that? He's like, man, I'm booked out. And it's because largely the Latino population has exited stage left. Shout out to Das. He writes, I almost forgot to say you were... what are some quick spots you would stop by to shoot some quick shots on a 3 a day? I think the key with your 3 a day is to align it to your actual.
I want to skip to like what they actually. I want to get back to the conversation.
Because whites are great. It's because whiter is. It's my pleasure. And this, as it turns out, is a really important conversation because the truth is, if the white man in America continues to flounder, the country is going to die. And it's not because whites are great. It's because whites are the majority. That's what it is, because whites are the majority. And more importantly, the people who are coming in mass are not the upper classes of other countries. And that was largely due to poor immigration policy. I yield the floor for you.
Yes, well, appreciate the conversation. You guys follow me on social media at Cloysius, Kloysius. And just one quick question: is this going to be on YouTube so I can clip up and stuff? Or
yeah, absolutely. Okay. What I'm doing right now is it is on YouTube, but I'm about to shut this one. I'm about to shut the YouTube stream down. I'm gonna keep streaming. I'd be happy to continue the conversation if you can. If you don't want to, I totally understand. But I'm going to continue it on Twitch. And so what I'm going to do is once we finish on Twitch, I'm going to pull the Twitch stream and then I'm going to repost that one.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Whenever. Yeah. I just kind of want to see like YouTube so I can get a couple clips out of it for sure.
Absolutely. It'll go back up on YouTube and I'll give you that as well. All I ask is that you don't post the whole thing like uninterrupted.
Yeah. No, of course.
Just to avoid copyright strikes for both of us.
It'll be like short little clips. Yeah.
No, you can use it however you please. No problem at all. You're more than welcome to. And I'll make sure that we get the information to you. You have my DM and we'll make sure we make it easy for you to download and utilize as you like. But anyways, and shout out to Brian supporting the work, came in using the Stripe link in a strong way. Okay, now, so with the current state of the white man, you believe that the actual solution is to stop immigration as opposed to reskilling the white man?
Well, I think it's a combination of both. I think we do have to put the resources in to reskill the white man. It used to be in the 1960s and 70s, you could graduate high school and you could have a certification as a plumber. You could have a certification as an electrician. Now it's not available. So I think making these opportunities.
Well, now, and I always speak on that point, it's solely focused on getting into college, which you used to be able to do that back in the day. But now, instead of them having actually skills that you can learn, right, it's easier to be controlled when you have to go through the system, which is to go through the schools. So now at a lot of high schools, they have college courses instead of having courses like, like he just said, you could be certified and being a plumber, welder, whatever that is. So I think we need to get back to people learning skills and learning trades because that's what makes this society run. Obviously, now we getting more like just like, I guess, hyper evolved when it comes to technology with all this AI stuff. But at the end of the day, skills pay the bills. If you have skills, you're never going to be broke. If you just know how to basically go to college, well, then you have to rely on the government, or you have to rely on the system and the institutions to be able to make it work for you instead of basically working for yourself. So I would advise anybody, and you have a lot of this, and this is no disrespect to the older generation and the elder generation, but a lot of y'all have the only way that you can be successful is go to college, even though the majority of people who go to college become now very deep into debt. And most people that go to college, especially now, don't go to college and get degrees for what they actually come out of college for, or they don't go to college and get degrees and actually work in the fields in which they went to college for. So college then becomes a waste of 4 to possibly 5, 6, 7 years when they could have probably stayed at a regular job and become the district manager at this point, or the regional manager, or possibly been an owner at this point. So we got to get that out of the older generation's mindsets, to where y'all believe that the only way that your son or daughter is going to be in your house, and the only way that they're going to be successful is going to college. Well, that's not the case anymore. My generation is a generation of entrepreneurs. If you don't know, if you are from the older generation, if you don't know, our generation is the generation of entrepreneurs. Our generation doesn't have the mentality that a lot of some of you have, is work the same job for 30 years and get my 401k and get my pension, get my retirement plan, and then just live my life. No. That is done and over with now. Because there's a positive, but the whole mentality. Hold on, let's say my OBS studio disconnected. What just happened? Can y'all hear me? I think we back good now. We good now. We should be cool now. We good. I think I was lagging a little bit. But somebody said, CEO, you Gen Z. Yeah, I am. So I just want to put that out there for the people that think like that. Y'all got to stop with that mentality. All right, let's keep going.
70s, you could graduate high school and you could have a certification as a plumber. You could have a certification as an electrician. Now it's not available. So I think making these opportunities more accessible and easier for people to get these quality jobs is important. But I also think it's important to control the flow of immigration into the country, to make sure those opportunities stay for the American people, which are predominantly white, but even non-white Americans, people that are Black, people that are Hispanic, who are here as citizens, they deserve to have those opportunities as well.
Okay. I did, and I'm going to pull up your IG real quick so folks can see what it is. But there was one particular reaction you did to my content. So let's take a look at that. And
Sure.
then we can, we'll move from there.
I got to run to something at 5, but we can, tell us whatever.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Give me one sec here. Just pull this up. Okay, can you see that?
For anybody that can't hear me, because I don't know why YouTube does that sometimes, just leave the live and come back. Like swipe out of YouTube maybe, and then just come back, and it should fix the sound. If your sound is not working, it should fix.
Me?
Oh,
No, I can't. Yeah.
Enlarge this. Okay, there you go. All right, here we go. All right, and it looks like he's doing well. It's 47,000 followers. Shout out to the young man. And okay, so here we are. And just confirm that you can hear the audio once it comes on.
The royal we, God, and this Trinity. So obey and you give you.
This Black nationalist is trying to make white people feel guilty. He's trying to make a Black Christian feel guilty.
Wait, and let's just take it by pieces. Like, do you believe I'm a Black nationalist?
Well, I mean, you're Black. You're in a nation.
I am Black.
Put them together. Black
When
national.
you say I'm in a nation, you mean like America?
Well, I mean, you do. You are an American citizen, right? So, I mean,
Yes.
it would make sense to be a Black nationalist, just like I'm a white nationalist. I'm not a globalist. I'm white nationalist, Black nationalist.
So I don't think that's what Black nationalist means. Black nationalist means that you are someone who prioritizes race as your nation. So do you believe I'm a Black nationalist? And I think you knew that. I think you just kind of made
Well,
that.
I believe if you had I assume you do have companies. I do assume, maybe you can't say it because of, civil rights thing, but I
Shout out to Pharaoh with the $2 donation.
do assume you probably would prefer to work around Black people over white people because those are your people.
You said you assume, and that's definitely.
I assume.
an
I don't
assumption.
know.
I don't look at Black people and say you're my people because you're Black, because some of them are degenerates, unfortunately.
And I 100% agree with that. A lot of people are going to disagree with me with that, but I agree. I've been past, and I think most of us should be past the all skin focused kinfolk stuff. I don't want to just be around you because you're Black. I want to be around you because you're a good person. Now, obviously, culturally, I'll probably be more, not probably, I would be more comfortable around my own people culturally, but that's just because of an acceptance of culture, right? Not because their skin color. The whole focus, kinfolk thing is the same reason why Barack Obama became the president. It's the same reason why Kamala Harris was almost the president. It's the same reason why us as black people, this is our problem. We're too accepting of everybody, and we're definitely accepting of other people who look like us, even though they don't share our same history, they don't share our same culture, food, style, music, anything else. And even to add on to that, we shouldn't just be open just because someone does share those things. I don't care because I go up in a black restaurant and I'm going to support you because you're black. No, I'm going to support you because you have good business. Miss me with the whole support black business. I don't give a damn that you're a black business. Do you have good service? Are you respectful? When I call the phone and order something, are you going to respect me on the phone as a customer? Are you going to short chump change me on food? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm going to support you, not just because you're black. And the kinfolk thing has done a number on black Americans specifically because we accept too many people who are from the outside. And then we're not able to fix our own in the inside because we are too scared to hold each other accountable. Now we need to hold each other accountable with good grace, right? Hold each other accountable with solutions, not to get white acceptance, which is the majority of black conservatives, unlike myself. But that's my mentality. I'm going to support you because you're a good person, not because we share the same phenotype. I could give a damn about that. Let's keep going. And I would hope that most of y'all would take on that mentality.
I don't look at black people and say, you're my people because you're black, because some of them are degenerates, unfortunately, like Lil Nas X, for example.
But if everything's equal, you would probably prioritize a black person over a white person.
If everything's equal, meaning like people are clones of one another and everything's the same except their skin color?
I mean, yeah, if everything's equal. I mean, obviously the environment changes. Like, there's no perfect, scenario. I mean, maybe if you were doing work in a predominantly white area, you might hire a white person so that white person get along better with the white people. If you're in an area, there's multiple factors of it, but I assume you would likely prefer a black person over a white person if all is equal and none would either hurt the other one.
Why do you assume that?
Well, I mean, you're black, right? I mean, I'm white. I mean,
the reason is he assumes it because he's making a projection. So he thinks, well, you should think like me because I think like me. No, that's not how that works.
If I'm white.
You said that 3 times. It was true every single time. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like for me, like if I had a company, one day, I don't know, maybe I'll be a winner one day, but not right now. But if I had a company, would I never hire a black person? No, of course I'd hire black people if they're the best at the job. If they're the best that's able to do that particular task. But I'm saying if everything is equal, they're exact clones and none's going to change the other one, I would hire the white person if exactly equal.
And why would you hire the white person if they're exactly equal?
Well, just because I'm white. I mean, that's like, if everything's equal, none's better than the other as far as I can see, that would just be the kicker to put it over the top.
And why is that a plus for you? Like what is it that the whiteness of the other guy will add? How will that add value to
it's just a tribal thing. It's not like if I'm hiring an engineer and I feel the black engineer is better, I'm going to hire the black engineer, right? I mean, there's so many factors, but what I'm saying is everything's equal. They're a pure clone.
I think when everything's equal, that's just when to decide it doesn't matter to me, because everything's equal in a literal sense. But what I'm trying to get at with you to understand is, you said you're tribal, and I was like, well, what's your tribe?
Well, I mean, I'm white. I feel people that are white European, we kind of have the same social framing. We kind of get told the same things about white privilege. We kind of get the same, kind of be quiet white man, we're talking. So it's like we kind of have that same commonality kind of.
This is like chronic I'm on the internet talk right here. Be quiet white man, I'm talking. You hear that from fat black women who don't want to talk about anything else but how they, right? You talk to them out in public, most of them are going to be open. They're going to be respectful. They're going to be nice. You have the ones that are completely off the rails, right? The ghetto loudmouth ones, right? But that's not the majority. Most black women are pretty open. Most black women will help you and give you the shirt off their back if they could. So that be quiet white man, like that doesn't happen in real life, dude. That is chronic internet talk because you're chronically on Twitter and you get all your talking points from online rather than actually using true reality and like going outside. You just taking it, you're taking in what other people say and then basing that as that's the majority and that's what happens every single day. No, it doesn't. Like no, it doesn't at all.
Same common social
like
experience.
You guys are all oppressed in the same way. Is that what you're saying?
Not, I mean, I wouldn't say oppressed, but I'd say we kind of have the same.
Especially older black women. If you talk to the average older black woman, she will, like, say you hungry, she gonna try to get you something to eat. Like, come on now, what are you talking about?
Same way? Is that what you're saying?
Not, I mean, I wouldn't say oppressed, but I'd say we kind of have the same experience. Talk more freely. You don't have to be as, reserved.
The reason that I asked that is because you said tribal, and I've been among tribes. Perhaps you have as well. And generally with tribes, it's actually not based necessarily on your racial group. Typically, they share a racial group, but it's usually based on, being a part of a linguistic group, sharing a specific history, folkways, culture, mores, style of dress, things like this would like make you an actual tribe. Whereas what you're describing is not a tribe. And I would even further suggest that you said you were Irish, and I
It's an ideology, not a tribe.
was actually just in Ireland, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And I know the Irish would be very much so out of line with what you're saying. So
Yeah, to an extent.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. They'd be very far, especially with your notes about, invading other countries. The Irish are very against that because of their history.
Not all Irish.
I don't,
got some
the
of the
overwhelming
British in
majority,
there, so.
the overwhelming majority, because of their history, right? You familiar with what has happened to the Irish?
Well, yeah, the England basically oppressed them. They still have, I think, 6 provinces in Northern Ireland still. It's still not a unified country.
Right. And you know about the IRA?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's multiple. There's the Army, the Irish Republican. Well, there's the one that was labeled a terror group, and then there's the Army that's called that.
Okay, yeah, very good. So for sure, they'd be really against stronger countries impositioning weaker
I support
countries.
them in their struggle. I'm an American now, so obviously I'm American. I'm America first.
Yeah. Anyways, but your point earlier, this tribal thing, I think it's a little strange because it's like you're suggesting that there's a bond between whites that actually doesn't exist, unfortunately, is what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting that if we got like whites from like 5 European countries and then like 5 Americans, most of the Europeans would be like, Americans. Even though you're white, they kind of like, Americans. And if we put a German and a Frenchman together, like, the German, like, you're French. Or even a Brit and a French, you're French. So the tribalism that you're suggesting exists, like, does not actually exist between whites.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not my personal experience with it. I do feel,
Again, using anecdotes to say I didn't experience it, so that means it doesn't matter or it doesn't exist, what you're saying. Low IQ talking point.
there is more of a similarity with people that are white. Now, does that mean that, you can't share those same bonds with people that are black or a different race? No, of course. As individuals, you have to get to know the individual person. But I think group dynamics, white people to their own detriment, have kind of ignored that over the last 50 years when other groups have not. And because of that, they have lost their top of the stage. They've lost their tip of the stage.
Is it that white people have ignored racial consciousness, or is it that there's diversity within the white collective? And
well, there certainly is diversity. I mean, there's diversity in every collective.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no unified white. What does it mean for white existence? But there are overall things that align mostly, for the most part. It's like political parties. You don't agree with every single thing, but for the most part, people align more with one side or the other.
Okay. And you said I'm a black nationalist. So to you, black nationalist means what again?
You're black, right?
Yeah, I'm still, yeah.
You're a nationalist, right? You're not a globalist.
A nationalist. I'm a patriot.
Like, do you want to put America first? I want to put
the American people first.
So you're a national. You're a black nationalist.
That's not what that means.
That's my definition of it. People might have different ones, but that's how I see it.
Okay. So if that's your actual definition, then how did you gather that from the video? It sounds like you're making up things right now. I'm going to replay the video real quick because based on the video, it doesn't sound like you're suggesting that I'm a black person who believes in America first. It suggests that you're saying that I'm a black person who believes in black first. And I'm going to go ahead and replay this.
Yes.
Us, the royal we, God in this Trinity. So obey and we give you
This black nationalist is trying to make white people feel guilty.
Right. So that language you use, saying this black nationalist is trying to make white people feel guilty, that would suggest that wouldn't make sense if you're saying a black nationalist is a black person who's America first. Well, why would a black person who's America first try to make white people feel guilty?
Well, there's different realms of it. I think when white people recently have been told about slavery, about all these things, they start to feel guilty. They start this, oh, well, yeah, we did some really bad things, and now we have to, repent. And it's like, I'm done. I'm done with the white guilt. I'm done with the, we're going to take a knee for George Floyd. Like, the 2020 whites is over. We have to start standing up for ourselves. And I think as groups, when people stand up for themselves, I think we can actually have a productive dialogue. We can't have a productive dialogue if people are just not speaking what they truly believe.
But I was talking to a black guy, though. I wasn't like talking to a white guy.
Yeah, I mean, I made the video based on what I took from it. I mean, it's a video. It's out there. Okay. I bring many controversial takes on many videos. But yeah, I mean, it's what I made.
Okay, fair enough.
He's trying to make a black Christian feel guilty. He's trying to say,
do you think that black people should be Christians?
I mean, I think people should be Christian. Now, I mean, I think when it comes to
people.
It's a yes or no question. The answer is no. He doesn't think black people should be Christian, which is fine. But like all of the over displaying is unnecessary. Just say what you feel. You don't think black people could be Christian. That's fine.
I mean, I think people should be Christian. Now, I mean, I think when it comes to...
No, black people, not people. Do you think black people should be Christians?
I think all people should, black people included, yeah.
Do you think black people can go to heaven?
Huh?
Can black people go to heaven?
Of course.
So you're a Christian. Do you believe all people are like the same, like God's children, like completely equal?
Well, this is where I do believe we're all God's children. But I think with the world, I mean, it depends how deep down the rabbit hole you want to go. But I personally believe in the Garden of Eden. I believe that us used to kind of all look the same. And I think as we all spread out, different areas of the world could go to Africa, white people would go to Europe, our skin tone, our racial makeup changed based on the environment over thousands of years. So I do believe at the fundamental sense, we all are the same human. But I do think because of how the world is as of this point right now, we are divided along those racial lines. But I would like to see a world where that's not the case. But I think white people in general have just ignored that is the case right now. And if an honest conversation can be had in time, I think there can be that unity, because I do believe we all are the same.
Yeah, I know Marquett is not a Christian. He thinks Christianity and religion in general is pretty dumb. But I don't think he's making that argument to like say he believes in that. I think he's trying to bring this up because he knows what this guy believes. This white guy is a Christian. So I think he's trying to bring this up to like see if he's going to uphold his own morality. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you're right though.
Human fundamentally from the Garden of Eden. I just think as of right now, there is racial differences and people have to be aware of that.
Where was the Garden of Eden?
Between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers.
Okay. So would you say that's in the Middle East?
Middle East, yeah. Or it's modern day Iraq, yeah.
Okay. And were those earliest people, were those black people or white people?
I think they were like a mix. They were like a middle, like an Arabian mix. They weren't like white. They weren't like black. They were kind of just everyone like Rihanna. I guess that's kind of the closest thing. Like a mix between the two. I don't think everyone was white or black. I think it was like a mix, like an Arabian mix. If that makes sense.
Rihanna.
So, is your understanding that the oldest humans on Earth were in the Garden of Eden? That's where humanity started, in the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, that's my belief. Yeah.
Okay, and if that is the case,
from our religion, yes, but I think so. Personally, this is where I really love talking about this, because this is where the real big stuff comes out.
Sure.
I believe each region had different gods that ruled those regions. They were actual beings, like all these different people, like Egypt, the Greeks, the Chinese. Those deities that they talked about were actually real beings. They were.
When you say real
angels
beings, you're saying
heaven.
Real deities or just real humans?
Angelic beings.
So above humans,
Yes,
like extra.
yes.
Okay. All
Yes, and they ruled over certain regions after the fall.
Okay. And so if the oldest human beings, according to your understanding of the Bible, were in the Garden of Eden, which you said was in the Middle East, why are the oldest human remains found in Africa?
Well, it's a very interesting point. When we talk about the oldest human remains, right? How are those remains dated? How do we know those things are accurate? Because I think I would argue with world history, a lot of the things that we're told aren't exactly true. I think a lot of history is fudged. I don't believe a lot of the stories we're told are exactly how they were. So when you say the oldest were found in Africa, right, I would ask what type of dating was used and how that is accurate. And that could have been possible, but I do believe in the Garden of Eden, there was a literal garden. That's where humans were. And when you read in the Bible how when Cain killed Abel, it says Cain fled to other lands and there were other people there. So it does show there were other people already here outside of the Garden of Eden. So that could be true, but I'm not 100% sure how that is true.
So if you say that the archaeologists and the historiography around the oldest human remains has been falsified, the fact that those
well,
were
it could be
mostly
true.
white,
It does say there were other people. So it could be true. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Fair enough. So your belief is that humankind started in the Garden of Eden with like a people who today we'd probably regard as a mixed race people, and then humankind spread to different regions of the.
But just the humanity wise, I don't believe any group is just inherently superior because fundamentally we all are the same group. If that makes sense.
Sure, I comprehend the English that you're speaking. I'd ask you this, and especially, I hear this commonly from the Black Christians. They'll say, we're all Christians, so we're all fundamentally the same. And in as much as that's the case, do you think that they're kind of inaccurate? Because if you say you had a daughter and she wanted to marry a guy who's a white Christian and a Black Christian, you actually wouldn't view them equally. You would prefer the white Christian, correct?
I think for me personally, again, if all's equal, yes. But I do believe fundamentally we all are the same human species, the same humankind. Just the environments made us look different as time went on.
So if someone is also a Black Christian, then fundamentally you actually don't see them as the same because you'd still pick the white Christian because they're white.
Well, just based off my tribal instinct, if all's equal, right? I mean, I'm not controlling. I care more about the behavior than the race personally. Like me personally, I do, but I don't ignore race. And I think a lot of white people have ignored it. And I think that's where the problem is.
So say you had a white Christian who is a Frenchman. So he's a real Frenchman, generations far back. He speaks French as a primary language. And your daughter has these two options. And so you're from Florida. And so say you grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. The Black guy grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. He's a Christian. The white guy.
Why does he keep changing his blinds so much? And then when he changed his blinds, he doing it in this weird way, like he don't know how to use his body, like he's a robot or AI. This is about the third or fourth time that he's changed his blinds or like done something with like. Why does he keep doing that? And look at how he do it all weird. Like look at him. Look, watch how he's about to do this. He's done this about 4 times now. It's like every 15, 20 minutes, he'll just start funneling with his blinds in like a weird, like uncoordinated, unorthodox way.
These two options. And so you're from Florida. And so say you grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. The Black guy grew up in West Palm Beach, Florida. He's a Christian. The white guy from France is a Christian. And they're both, options for your daughter's hand in marriage. I'm assuming you'd go for the white Frenchman who is a Christian.
I mean, well, that's her decision to make, right?
No, I'm saying if it's your decision as the father.
If all's equal?
Well, under what I just described. So the only things that are unequal is the fact that the Black guy is from West Palm Beach and he grew up where you grew up. And the Frenchman grew up in France and French is his primary language. But everything else, yes, is equal.
Well, I mean, that's like and that would be for her to decide. I can't decide that.
No, I'm saying if it was for you to decide.
For my daughter, right? I mean, but like I can't make a decision based on that, right?
You're saying that's not enough data for you to make a decision, or?
Well, I'm saying I can't make that decision. You're saying there's a guy who's white, who's French, who speaks French, right?
Yes.
And she loves them both equally, and one's black from West Palm Beach.
Yes. So they're both Christians. They both have the same merits. They both have the same level of attractiveness and appearance. So like they're basically clones of each other, except one grew up in West Palm Beach, where you grew up, and that's the black guy. The other one grew up in Paris, France, and French is his primary language. Those are the differences. So, and it's your responsibility as a father to pick between them.
I can't really make that decision if I'm honest, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of me wants to say the white French guy, but like, I'm not against the. I honestly can't make a choice. Like, I can say me personally, right? I mean, I'd probably pick the white woman if it was me, but I mean, you can't control who you fall in love with. So I'm not someone who's hateful for that.
I think you can. People say that, but I feel like you can.
You definitely can.
I mean, you do feel things. Like, you can't control how you feel about somebody.
Yes. Okay, fair enough. And all right, let's wrap this up. And I thank you for sharing your perspective on that.
The evil white man brought Christianity to Africa.
Okay, so you said that I said the evil white man brought Christianity to Africa. Okay.
Christianity was in Africa. Mark the Apostle founded the church at Alexandria in 42 AD.
Where was Mark the Apostle from?
Mark the Apostle?
Yes, you referenced a guy named Mark the Apostle, I believe, just now. Where was Mark the Apostle from?
The 12 Apostle Mark, the Apostle Mark.
Okay, where's he from?
Well, they were from modern day Israel. That was their area. He went through Egypt, and then he went into, we founded the Church of Alexandria, yeah.
Okay.
The Ethiopian church was founded in 330 AD, way before the white man came and started colonizing Africa.
That's interesting. Is that true? That the Ethiopian
church? I'm pretty certain with that. That's the accurate year. I've looked up the information.
Because the Ethiopians actually, many of them are considered Jews, and that would predate the Bible, right?
Is that the Hebrew Israelites? Or they?
No, the Hebrew Israelites is like some American thing. But anyways, we'll carry on. But here's the important thing. The argument that you made was not quite accurate, because what I was telling the African fellow, who was Congolese, mind you, you're referencing people in northern Africa, in Egypt, which none of the actual Egyptians are there anymore. Those are Arabs who have invaded, and also a mixture of Europeans who also conquered there. Also the Assyrians and various Romans, etc. It's a mixed race people, not the original people of the land. Just like the original people of this country are not here in great numbers, nor are the Australians, the Aborigines. So, anyways. You essentially try to make it seem as though I was referencing the Christianity of the Ethiopians, or the Christianity that was at some point in Egypt. Now, mind you, it's no longer there. I mean, Egypt is overwhelmingly Muslim. This is a terrible place, which I would not go back to. But the fact of the matter is, the West Africans I usually am talking to, or in this case, the guy who was Congolese, these people got their religion mostly from colonialism, which would align directly with what I said, also known as the truth. I yield the floor.
Well, West Africa, that was predominantly the white European that gave colonialism. I know the Arabs moved through there in the 600s and 700s, North Africa, and then they went up through Spain. And so the whole world's been all Arabs moving through, forcing people to convert to Islam, Christians moving through, forcing people to convert to Christianity, and then in 1900s, Christian missionaries going to Congo, and some Christian missionaries even get killed. White Christian missionaries get killed in Africa today. So the world hasn't been a pretty place. But and West Africa was predominantly from the white Christian that came in.
Well, pretty much I'd even charge pretty much everywhere in the African continent except Ethiopia, which was the only African country that was not properly colonized. They did suffer some defeats by the Italians. They also had some victories over the Italians. But in Italian culture,
they won their independence, I think, in 1896, right? That was when they pushed back the it was Italians, right? They pushed them back. They won a battle.
Yeah, but the challenge is that they've not been whole, right? Like the people that really share that racial group, they're currently split into Eritrea and Ethiopia. And
Yeah,
so
there's
often
that.
curious things happen following European meddling, abuse of sovereignty. But you'd concede that the point that you made in your reel was actually not accurate. And my point was accurate, which is that the black Africans
Well, I think we both
got
just
their Christianity.
misspoke, right? I think I interpreted you saying that Christianity was brought to Africa by the white man, right? But there was Christianity in Africa before. But now that we have clarified the region you are discussing,
No, I was
West
talking to a
Africa,
Congolese man, and I
oh,
specifically.
well, I didn't have that information at the time. Right. All I did was see a reel and I said, hey, let me make a video on this. But now that we can clarify West Africa.
But why do they talk about white people colonizing Africa so much? Why do they tell you about slavery and all these things? It's because they want us to feel guilty.
He's like a gay GameStop worker. Like you go to GameStop and he just behind the counter, he just like real gay or like real like flamboyant. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
True.
Well, it's also history. Like people reference history. There's an entire curriculum called history. So,
but what do you want me to do about that, though? Like,
history.
what is your objective when you tell me that? What do you want me to do as a modern day white man?
Well, that's a very meaningful point. Generally, the whites, yourself being an example, you insert yourself where you don't belong. So I was having a conversation as a black man to another black man who's Congolese. So a foundational black American having a conversation with a Congolese man. That's black and black having a conversation about his specific history, which involves neither white person nor you. But you decided to react.
Bruh, he keep doing this thing with the blinds, bro. He doing it again. Look at him. He real weird with it too.
Which involves neither white person nor you, but you decided to react to it and engage the conversation. So when you say, what do I expect you to do as a white man or to say, I don't expect you to do or say anything because the conversation doesn't involve you, but you guys always insert yourselves.
Yeah, I inserted myself, my heritage. It's in my DNA. I insert myself in other places, but I think the key point of that argument is I think I agree with your point that West Africa, Christianity was brought by white Europeans. But the one thing, we can have a conversation about history, but I think the feeling is that there is an agenda to make me feel guilty for being white.
Somebody said he's stimming. Why is nigga?
There's an agenda out there, right? That's why.
Whose agenda is that, though?
We all know whose agenda.
This guy right. That was crazy. Gotcha. This guy right there. We all know who's. No, I'm dead ass. Like, whose agenda is it to make white people feel guilty about their crimes?
I think elite J interest and aligned interest are.
But those are also white people, you realize. So that's the challenge that I'm having. Is like you're saying that we're white people being attacked by white people, is what you're saying. Okay,
they claim to be white, but then when it comes time to foot the bill for reparations, they say, "Oh no, we're Jays." So they pretend to be
no one's
white
foot the bill for reparations. What do you mean?
Okay, but it's what I'm saying with it, and I think the reason they want that, why they want white people to feel guilty, I think it comes down to a deeper conversation. The reason they want them
Smoke alarms for sure, McQueen.
to feel that way is if white people feel guilty, they're no longer going to be nationalist. They're no longer nationalist. If they no longer follow the values and protect their own interest, then they can be overrun. Then they can be conquered. Then other groups can come in and rule these countries. And it's how you see in the world today. No one complains when a Chinese nationalist wants to keep China, China. Nobody complains, but it's the white people, because of past aggressions that we have done, where people say, oh, well, you can't have a white country.
You do have a white country, and that's why I said it's important that you not be provincial. I was just recently in a couple of these places.
There's a world.
You ever been
J
to Finland?
Congress. There's a World J Congress that's literally
real quick,
celebrating
though.
when
You
whites
said
become a minority.
you suggested that you don't have a white country. Have you ever been to Finland?
Okay, but I'm saying there's a agenda.
Yeah, no, don't skip over it. I'm saying you asked for white countries.
Question.
Like, have you ever been to Finland?
No, I haven't. But there is white countries out there.
So why don't you just go to Finland if you want to be in a white country? No, I
like
do
America.
business
I
in
don't have
Poland,
a
for
problem
example.
with
Poland is a
America.
white country. Like, why don't you just move to Poland?
What I'm saying is, I like America. I want to keep the culture aligned with white interest. Other people, they're going to come in. That's how the world works in a global economy. But what I am saying is, white people have become soft, and they've said, it's okay to disrespect us in our country. It's okay to disrespect white people and Christianity. And I reject that.
Do you think that Christianity is a white supremacist religion?
And so that's we have to break that question down. When Christianity was founded, it was it was in Arabia, right, in the Middle East, right, in modern day Israel or Palestine, however people want to argue it. It was there. So it was that group of people. And initially it was a religion of people that would preach the gospel and get executed and persecuted. That's what the religion was. And then in time with Rome, it became an institutional power, and then there became the Catholic Church. So initially it was a persecuted religion, but then it became the religion of Europe, and Europe went on to conquer and enslave most of the modern world. So it was the white religion.
Christianity is the white religion.
Well, I mean, I think it should be an everybody religion, but it was used by white people. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's mostly a white religion, right?
Well, I mean, not today.
Here you go with the blondes again, bro.
I mean, it's changed a lot. I mean, China. I mean, the underground church in China, they're growing very fast. So, I mean, I think.
Do you think Christianity would be better if it was just white people, like Christianity?
No. I would love everybody to become Christian, right, regardless of what they are. And as I said before, fundamentally, race exists now in the modern world because there are differences, because we went to different regions and areas and evolved differently over thousands of years. But overall, we are the same thing. Fundamentally, initially, we were all the same thing, but because of genetic diversity in different places, we became different and looked different from each other.
Do you find that maybe your drive for racist ideology kind of stops you from delivering on general beliefs in Christianity around egalitarianism because your racism makes you?
Well, I don't think it's racism. I think it's protection. China, if let me tell you something. If there was efforts to mass import Somalians and Afghanis and Venezuelans into China, they would become racist because that is their culture.
No, they're
that is their
already
land.
racist. They don't have to become racist.
Well, yeah, but it's like, does racism mean I hate other people? No, it doesn't mean I have hatred for anybody.
So are you saying that you're scared of genetic annihilation? Is that what you're suggesting?
When you say what do you mean? Like the white? Well, there is no fundamental fear. It's just we have a. Yeah,
are you sure it's not fear? Because it sounds like fear to me. To be honest with you,
we have white countries, and we want to keep them white. That's all.
But America is not a white country. America is a diverse country.
It is predominantly.
In fact, the blacks in America have reduced as a percentage
because of Planned Parenthood. Yeah, the most
whites. That was whites again, right there. Yeah.
It was Jays. Whites. It was Jays. It wasn't.
Which are
wasn't
whites. Me. Which are whites.
They claim to be, but when it comes time to foot the bill,
you keep forgetting that you define what it is to be white at the beginning, and you said it's people of the European heritage, and that would be who we're talking about, white Jews.
Okay, but they don't consider themselves white.
Yeah, but if I don't consider myself black, that doesn't change the reality. If you don't consider yourself a man, that doesn't change the reality.
It doesn't change the reality, but you know what? You can, long as it's not in front of me, you can be a tree if you want to be. It's your prerogative.
Do you think that what if most of your ideas that you're sharing are really expressive of mental illness, because it's like, on one hand, you're saying that you're under attack as a white group, but then you're saying it's the white group that's attacking you. That's kind of crazy, right?
It's the white Jays holding the weapon. They are firing.
But here's what you have to understand, though. Here's what you have to understand.
The bullet going quick is a result.
White is a racial category. And so much of your ideology is shared based on race. And to be Jewish is to choose a religious practice or to identify as a part of a particular ethnicity. It's about the behaviors, but it's not about your biology, because there are Jews who are redhead whites. There are Jews who are blue-eyed whites. All the ones I know are blue-eyed and blonde. It's a bit ironic. And so the fact of the matter is that you're just angry at a group of whites who are performing better than you, but they're still white. So why not just be thankful that whites are winning?
I'm not angry at anybody. I just want to advocate for my own interest.
But that's what I'm saying. The whites are winning because the Jews are white.
Okay. I don't consider it that way.
But you have to, like Benjamin Netanyahu, for example, he's not white?
He's Jewish.
Do you know where his parents are from?
Well, they weren't. Well, Israel wasn't always a state. It was. They were in Europe. But what I'm saying is there is a difference.
European heritage.
Okay, there's a difference between Jews and non-white Jews.
Wait.
Sorry. There's a difference between Jews and whites that are not Jewish.
Yeah, the difference is that they're organized and you're not organized. They're rich and you guys are not.
100%. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to organize. Trying to organize the white folks. To get them all. Come on, people. Let's
whites
wake up.
Against whites?
Stop being the gay dude in the commune in Portland. Wake up, white Aryan. Get up. Take your country back. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to save these white people who are in Portland protesting. Like, what are they yapping about? Like, come on. Like, what?
And who would they be taking their country back from?
Organized elite interest that are Jays and protecting their own interest. I don't blame the bullet. I blame the person firing the pew pew. That's who I blame. The bullet does what the bullet does.
That's really interesting. Hey, I'm actually on a podcast right now. Can I call you back in 4 minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, bye. Okay. Fair enough.
Hey, look, if you one of my women, don't call me while I'm working. Don't call me while I'm working. Just real quick. Don't call me while I'm working. You need to send me a text first. Or check to see if I'm working. One of my women, don't do that, all right?
Okay. Fair enough. Let me acknowledge some of the folks who may have questions for you. We're going to start winding down.
Sure.
All right. May I acknowledge via PayPal, shout out to Kristen. He writes, Peace of Saints, tired of white supremacists saying white guilt. They are conflating guilt with sympathy. That's a meaningful point. Whites should sympathize with a race that was forced here and wasn't given / allowed a fair opportunity, starting with family, second education as massa. Okay. All right, so that's his perspective. Carrying on, may I acknowledge via Venmo. Arthur writes, man, knock it off. Tell little homie we're recruiting Sassin Caucasian. Like in a real way, man, in a real way. Okay, we are caught up there. You have any other closing things that you're like, you know what, people need to know this? About the whites, about the blacks, about whomever. You want to say any other racist things before you get out of here?
Want to say any other racist things?
People can call whatever I said, whatever they want to call it. They can feel however they want to feel. But I would just say one thing that's very important, and this is for everybody. This isn't for exclusively.
He didn't learn anything during this conversation. He just already feel how you feel. You can't reason with somebody that doesn't have any like openness to want to learn. And most people never think that they're wrong about anything. So he is most people, unfortunately.
White people, black.
Somebody said, Ohio in the building, what up? I'm from Cleveland, so I don't know nothing about that Ohio stuff. You definitely not from Cleveland if you say Ohio in the building, but much respect to Ohio. But I'm from Cleveland. Respectfully, I'm from Cleveland. Not from Ohio.
People, anybody, I would say constantly question narratives and agendas that have been told by institutions that have lied and betrayed you. Always look for the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Seek and you will find. Never be unapologetic for searching, and always question those who do not have your best interest at heart. That's all.
Is it possible to be a racist and a Christian?
But I think race is an objective term. I don't hate the skin color.
No, I'm saying, is it possible to be a racist and a Christian?
Just answer the question, man.
Do I think you can be?
Yes.
Racial hatred, I think you need to work on that. You need to stop the racial hatred.
You're not answering the question.
But being race aware, yeah, absolutely. You should be race aware.
Okay. Can you be a racist and go to heaven?
Racial hatred? Well, it comes down
These are simple questions. Answer the question.
to, in the Christian religion, giving your life to Christ. End of the day, like I'll be honest with this. None of us chose where we were born. None of us chose the brain wiring we had, the time in history we were born into. I could have been born in 1698 on a slave plantation in Virginia as a black man or a black woman. So many things none of us even chose. So I do have that general understanding with people. Before we're born, so much is already chosen for us.
Shout out to Latana for the $20 donation. She says, keep going with the content, and I love you. I love you too, Latana. Thank you for the support, and thank you for always rocking with me. Thank you.
But I would say people should not have hatred for people, but they should be aware of group dynamics.
Thank you, Latana.
Okay. Very good. We'll just make sure we didn't miss anything critical from this clip, and we're going to get out of here. Appreciate you having been here. It's been entertaining.
They want white people to feel guilty. They want to say, we need more diversity. We need more inclusion. It's inclusion so they can get their foot in the door.
You don't want black people to get their foot in the door?
Well, I think when we talk about inclusion, there's people that have a desire to get in and take the power, to get in and hold their group to the top, right? And I think group dynamics matter. And I've never been against people in America who are American having opportunities. But what I'm saying is, for white people, for far too long, we've fallen for this guilt trap that we need to just be so tolerant that we let people in who don't speak our language, who don't share our culture.
So, but you
who
were
aren't gonna put
responding
our
to a
interests
black
first.
American. You're responding to a black American. And in all likelihood, my family has been here way longer than your family, since you're Irish, because you guys came in through Ellis Island. We were here before that. So you're responding to a black American. So are you saying that black people, black Americans like myself, we want you to feel guilty so that we can take opportunities from you?
I think there are some that do, for sure. Yeah.
Black Americans want to take opportunities from you.
I think there are some people who want white people to just have this eternal apology thing where they just want to keep apologizing for.
Black Americans want to take opportunity from a person who came over here from a different land. You were not established here. You came over here to America, and your ancestors actually took the opportunities of the Black Americans who are already here and took a part in building this country. So we're trying to take opportunities from you. When you came to this land, we were already here and weren't even given the access to the same opportunities that you were given, simply on the basis of our skin color. But we're trying to take the opportunities from you? Got it.
This eternal apology thing where they just want to keep apologizing for slavery, for all these things that they didn't particularly do. So do I think opportunities are being taken from white people? I don't think it's from Black Americans taking it. I think it's been mass migration and H-1B program.
It's diversity so they can grow. Then when they take power, there's no more diversity. There's no more inclusion. So don't fall for the white guilt shit.
Obey and
Exactly, Afro. White tether.
I agree.
White tether.
So you're saying if black people take over, then black people are going to abuse you?
It's not black people in general. It's groups of people from countries who hate white people, who hate Christianity, who we are letting into the country, especially under the Biden administration, tens of millions that came through. So I think people should if they
is
live
Biden
here.
white?
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's the white liberal. I've said that again. White liberal, they're the ones. The
So
evil
should
white
black
liberal.
people and colored people ever come up in your conversation? Shouldn't it always just be a conversation about your own people who are liberal?
What I'm saying is, I'm talking about the bullets being fired. I'm not talking about the weapon in particular. Yes, it is organized interest who were white, who are identify as white, who have, by different policies, they have sold the country out. They've offshored jobs. They've advocated for no taxes. The country loses its tax revenue because working class people pay taxes. The corporate elites advocate for no taxes for themselves. So the country loses tax revenue. Then they import the third world in.
That's a fundamental
Then the country
American
gets worse for
thing,
everybody.
though. Like, you've heard of the Gilded Age in the United States. In fact, the taxing is a bit of a newer thing, right? This came in around
For sure.
the World War,
1913,
right?
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not America is about free enterprise. It's about pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. It's about a small state. So you keep talking about taxes and like all of these welfare benefits. That actually sounds quite liberal, to be honest with you. So why is that an issue if you are a true American, a true capitalist, and you actually have accountability? What does taxes matter? I made it with the same taxes that you had.
Right. And at this modern, every single time in history, there's a game. It's just a game. Don't take it too personal. We're all just playing. I'm just playing the game. You're playing the game. All of us are just playing the game. Back in the 1800s, it was very brutal. There were people that had hundreds of slaves on thousands of acres that ruled by brutality, by force, right? That was the game at the time, and they were the best at the game at the time. But in this modern day, it comes down to what rules of the game do we want? And how can myself as a white person, right? Because I have to live in the rules of the game. We don't live in a world where there's everybody truly just says we're all human, we all live together as one. We don't live in that world. So I can't be a dodo bird and ignore my own interest while other groups aren't doing the same. So I have to be aware.
Why are your interests the interest of a white person instead of the interest of a guy named James?
Well, interest is, well, obviously I am James first, right? I mean, I put myself first, right? Then my family, then my friends, then my community, then the broader country in general. But the truth is, I play the game. I want myself to win, right? I want to make white people not feel guilty. And I want everyone to work one day, everybody can come together and we can all work together. But the world isn't at that place right now. And I'd be delusional if I didn't understand that. Okay.
I appreciate you having shared your perspective. Until next time, peace to the saints.
Well, Marquett, I appreciate you taking the time. Have a great day, man.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That was very telling of how a lot of the low level of intelligence that a lot of those people have. I'm glad we got to break it down. I think it was fun. I think it was funny. I think y'all liked it. So